Paddock, who lived in a retirement community in Mesquite, Nevada. Authorities said they believe he acted alone, though his motive was unknown. At least a dozen people were in critical condition at University Medical Center in Las Vegas, where the most seriously injured victims were taken. Clark County Sheriff Joseph Lombardo told reporters Paddock had no criminal record. The gunman killed himself before police entered the hotel room where he was firing. Lombardo said 16 rifles were found in the room where Paddock killed himself, some with scopes and some that appear to have been modified in an attempt to convert them into machine guns. Lombardo said the gunman apparently used a device similar to a hammer to smash the windows from which he fired in the two-room hotel suite where he had been staying since Thursday. Chris Sullivan, the owner of the Guns and Guitar Shop in Mesquite, issued a statement confirming that Paddock was a customer who cleared all necessary background checks and procedures. Sullivan added, Paddock never gave any indication or reason to believe he was unstable or unfit at any time, adding that his business was cooperating with investigators. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
I always dreamed of providing the nation with concise recaps of the week's events. One fateful summer in 1934, legendary onion mogul T. Herman Zwiebel was passing through our town to acquire an oil derrick when he overheard me calling in the oxen in my breathy baritone and offered me the opportunity of a lifetime. Yes, from the turbulent war times of the 1940s.
The Onion welcomes the majestic Axis armies as conquering heroes.
To the free-spirited 60s.
And remember, there's nothing more cosmic than keeping your house insulated with Thermoflake brand asbestos.
I can truly say I've been here for the turning of the ages. But now, viewers, my beautiful 19-year-old wife and I will take our much-deserved retirement to my Genevan chateau. I wish all of my detractors empty, destitute lives. And for my allies, I hope for all the pleasures availed by heaven. So, finally, let me say one last time, for more, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You, of course, can join us on the radio and take control of the airwaves. Bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up, we can talk about the universal basic income. And by the way, with you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
It's Vincent.
And Mark.
Of course, you can bring up anything that you want. Toll-free number 855-450, free. So we got the universal basic income once again being discussed, and it's not going to go off the table, I don't think, for quite a long time, even though it's a terrible idea. We'll get into that. But I've had this one sitting in my show prep for a few days from the aftermath of the hurricane down in Florida, which, Mark, you weren't in, but some of your family and houses and such, their houses were involved in that.
Yeah.
Struck pretty close to home. Lots of people were, their property was absolutely devastated. And in the aftermath, we had heard the headline that code enforcement was actually going around. I don't know if it was Miami or what city it was in, but in some hurricane-ravaged city, code enforcers were actually going around ticketing people for code violations, which had been, of course, caused by the hurricane.
Yeah, that's real nice of them.
And so just to, it's a great example of the total lack of compassion on the part of government bureaucrats. You can't give somebody a few weeks to get their property repaired. Nope, you got to send your code enforcement bureaucrats out as soon as they can get through the streets. I'm sure they waited until the trees were cleared from their path before they drove around. But ultimately, as soon as they could start handing out fines, they sure did. And it didn't stop there. According to the Foundation for Economic Education, fee.org, and Matt Powers writing, during the times of natural disasters, communities and local businesses come together to provide much-needed necessities to one another. In Green Cove Springs, Florida, Jack Roundtree, the owner of Triple J Barbecue Food Truck, decided to set up shop in front of a restaurant to provide lunch to hungry residents and workers cleaning up in the aftermath of Hurricane Irma. For Roundtree, who had operated Triple J Barbecue in Green Cove Springs at a city-sponsored events in the past, it was an opportunity to provide a much-needed service to residents and those who are hard at work to get the town back up and running. In fact, he was offering utility workers free lunches for all of their hard work. And that's a really nice gesture.
Yeah.
With nearly all of the town's restaurants closed down due to the storm, he was needed more than ever. But instead of serving lunch, the police ordered Roundtree to shut down Triple J and leave town. His crime? Operating without a permit, of course.
Well, you knew that was coming.
According to Clay Today, which is some website, quote, it was interesting to learn that Roundtree and his truck were encouraged to serve customers during Green Cove's monthly Saturday in the Park event without a permit, but during Hurricane Irma's aftermath, not so much. Quote, had Roundtree decided to press his case at City Hall, he would have been greeted with a sign that read, due to Hurricane Irma, City Hall offices and services will reopen on Thursday, September 14th, 2017.
So they weren't even doing a job, and they sent somebody around to bug him about doing a job.
Correct, meaning they could not give him the permit even if he had tried to obtain one because the city bureaucrats weren't there. And according to the story here, Green Cove Springs isn't the only city to force food trucks to jump through ridiculous hoops. Cities across the country often impose strict regulations that make it nearly impossible for food trucks to operate. In 2011, IJ, the Institute for Justice, launched its National Street Vending Initiative to fight these laws. In Baltimore, for instance,
IJ is a really good group.
They have, yes, it's hard to find a really good group of attorneys, but IJ is that. They are challenging a ban in Baltimore on food trucks parking within 300 feet of a brick-and-mortar business that sells the same type of food. In Chicago, IJ is challenging regulations that bans food trucks from operating within 200 feet of a brick-and-mortar business serving food.
And that, just blatantly shows what a vending license is.
Protection.
It's a payoff, right? Like, the business had to get the occupancy license. The brick-and-mortar business had to get the occupancy license. And I'm not saying that it's fair that one pays and the other doesn't. I'd say neither should have to pay. The government doesn't have any business telling you whether or not you can open your doors or not. Now, that's another thing. I'm sure that both of these businesses have to be inspected, but that's what the occupancy license is just the payoff.
It's absolutely true. It's just a protection racket. It's a protection racket for the businesses that have been around for a while, and they would prefer to not have any upstarts, any competitors entering into the marketplace. And it's easier to get into a food truck, presumably, as far as equipment that you need to install, and obviously the square footage is much smaller. It's going to be a smaller bill to operate. You
don't have to pay for seating. You don't have to pay for servers. You don't have to pay for the power and water for all those things. You just have to have your food truck.
Right, and so they're more mobile. They can move about and be in different places, and I'm sure that's frustrating to restaurant entrepreneurs who, they're stuck in that one location. If they want to expand out, they, would have to buy their own food truck or add additional locations, and it's just a much more difficult task to, put a restaurant together. But trying to outlaw your competition is not a good thing to do. And you shouldn't be surprised if you use the force of the state to try to protect yourself, that ultimately that very same force ends up being used against you someday.
It already has been used against the businesses, and that's what they're upset about.
So IJ is also challenging a Louisville, Kentucky law banning food trucks from operating within 150 feet of any restaurant selling similar food. It's not only during times of crisis that food trucks contribute to their communities. According to IJ's report, Streets of Dreams, mobile vending businesses help people escape poverty and unemployment through affordable startup costs, which creates the initial economic opportunity for upward mobility. In fact, we've seen a food truck here in Keene sort of grow up, if you will, into their own physical location. That has happened. They were successful enough with the food truck. They built their brand. They built their reputation enough to where they felt comfortable going ahead and establishing a physical location.
Yep, we've seen it.
So it can totally happen if it's allowed to occur, if the government will let you do it in the first place. And some towns are more or less friendly towards food trucks than others. IJ's report, 7 Myths and Realities, found the presence of food trucks can actually help local restaurant industries by attracting new customers and serving as incubators for new restaurants. Cities should embrace food trucks and liberate them from onerous regulations so they can enjoy the benefits that these businesses bring. But I agree with you, Mark. They should liberate everybody from their oppressive regulations while they're at it.
Yeah, I had just speaking to the idea that food trucks can bring more business. It seems counterintuitive. But I did speak, I used to sell local radio advertising for a living in Sarasota, Florida. And I spoke to a guy who's in Bradenton in Manatee County, north of the line. And he had a carpet store. And his, what he said was, I used to do a lot of advertising. And I stopped because all the other carpet businesses do carpet advertising, and what I find is they're all stirring the pot. They're getting people excited about flooring, and then some people come in and they shop me, they comparison shop me, and I sell enough stuff that it makes more sense for me not to do advertising than it did when I did.
So he was benefiting because other businesses advertised?
That's right. So I think to some extent, the food trucks stir the local food pot, and these other businesses benefit. Now, this was one guy's theory, but what could I tell him? He'd been in business for 25 years. I wasn't going to tell him he was wrong.
Yeah, no doubt.
Certainly not what I was taught about art marketing or advertising, but that doesn't make it false.
I would love to see more freedom for food trucks. I mean, here in Keene, New Hampshire, we have the benefit of actually having food trucks, so that's nice. They aren't completely outlawed, but there are some restrictions placed upon them that I don't think should be. So, for instance, you can't operate past a certain time of the year, meaning that once it gets too cold, they say no more. And just basically, sorry, you're out of business for 6 months.
Yep. Yeah, basically what they're doing is they're outlawing you going up to a vehicle in a parking lot, exchanging some money with this person inside and getting some food and walking off. That isn't the government's role.
Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up, universal basic income. Vincent's going to tell us about that, where it's apparently being experimented with again. We'll tell you where and how. Coming up on Free Talk Live.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are 2 Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You are invited to join us on the radio. Take control of the airwaves here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up tonight, the Wolf of Wall Street is on the attack against Bitcoin. All these old money people coming out and attacking the world's most successful cryptocurrency and basically embarrassing themselves. We'll tell you what he had to say for it here in moments. Of course, you can bring up anything you want. Speaking of Bitcoin, if you've been thinking about getting into Bitcoin mining, we can help. In fact, we can make it so you can not have to worry about the ongoing cost, constant equipment upgrades, the maintenance that you would have to worry about if you were actually doing your own mining. But in this case, at pool.bitcoin.com, you can have the professionals do it for you. There's a 100% uptime guarantee, and the website's easy to use. You can actually use their online calculator, which will help you understand what you could possibly make based on what you want to invest over at pool.bitcoin.com. And Mark and I are both doing this. Now, if you do want to do it the hard way, if you already have the mining equipment and you just want to join the Bitcoin mining pool, you can also do it that way at pool.bitcoin.com. But for those of you who are like me and Mark and you're just too busy or you don't have the technical know-how to set up a mining rig, then they can help you. You go to pool.bitcoin.com and you don't have to have a loud computer server sitting in your living room cranking away 24 hours a day. They've got it in a rack somewhere and big data center. They take care of that. It's pool.bitcoin.com. Head on over there. As we continue here, whether you want to talk...
When you say it's in a rack somewhere, that does not mean it's in a rack.
I was wondering about that.
As in an equipment rack in a server room. So we were talking about the attack against food trucks, and it's not just happening in Florida. It's just a thing in a lot of places where food trucks are sort of like the bastard child, if you will, of the food regulatory agencies. They don't care much for them. The regulators want to get rid of them because the big money people with their fancy restaurants want to get rid of the food trucks. But I love food trucks, man. They're so convenient, and whenever I spot a food truck, it's like I know I can get in and out of there relatively quickly. You don't have to sit down and wait, and then wait some more, and then wait some more, and finally, you get to eat, and then wait on the check. You pay for the food. They give it to you as fast as they possibly can, and at least around here, there are some pretty good food trucks in town. And
I think a lot of people would agree the food trucks have added to the sort of the culinary depth of many
New
places.
Hampshire, where we are.
I don't care about Keene, New Hampshire. It's a socialist cesspool.
I care about it. It's where I live.
I know.
It bothered me you call it the bastard child of a regulatory agency because That implies a regulatory agency could create anything when they only destroy.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. I was just blabbering. I didn't really know what best to say there, but they definitely don't get the respect.
Bastards, you're right.
They don't get the respect they
casualty. We're a casualty of these organizations.
There you go. That's a better word. Yeah, they don't get the respect they deserve. I mean, they serve a lot of hungry people every day, and at least around here, most of them take Bitcoin. We've actually accomplished the unique accomplishment of actually having almost every food truck in town accepting Bitcoin here in Keene, New Hampshire. So that's pretty cool. In fact, I was actually being interviewed by Reason.com today, and I hear they talked to you as well, Mark. They're doing a big piece about libertarians and Bitcoin, and so I'm looking forward to seeing that and where they're going with that. So we should get some good coverage out of that. Anyway, you can talk about whatever's on your mind. Also, let's get into this universal basic income. I know you wanted to talk about this last week. We just didn't get to it, Vincent. So once again, this idea of giving away a bunch of money that has to come from somewhere. So if it's a government program, they're probably going to have to print it out. But they're giving away a bunch of money to everybody. That's the idea of the universal basic income, and people are proposing this not just as your typical kind of new welfare program that should apply to everybody, which is basically what it's going to be, but they're using the excuse of, well, in the future, robots are going to be doing all the jobs, so we just need to pay people to exist. Is kind of the idea with the universal basic income.
Exactly, yeah, and it's not even, we're not even showing it as an option. It's an inevitability. Like all these futurists and different trendies, they all say, "Oh, we're going to have this, otherwise it'll be a Blade Runner capitalist dystopia."
Yeah, and it's not that I entirely disagree with the concept of a universal basic income. As a matter of fact, Milton Friedman proposed it and called it the negative income tax. I don't disagree with it. I'm just certain that the government and whomever implements it is lying to me about how it will be implemented. So what I'd like to clarify, it's if you're going to hand out benefits to people, I think handing them out in cash, rather than sort of putting together bureaucracies that give people benefits and that sort of things, has its benefits. And those benefits would be things like competition for people who provide services to those people who get those benefits, lower food prices, that kind of thing. Further, you would see consequences for people's actions. So if you choose to buy heroin instead of baby formula, you would see consequences to actions. Consequences to actions change behavior. They modify behavior. They put pressure on behavior. People will act better if they have consequences for their actions. Now, the fact of the matter is that we as a society, the government, the bleeding heart, bedwetting liberals, don't have the guts to hold crack addicts children,
crack
babies are gonna have rough lives, and so people are gonna be, look at the children. Once they hand out this $1,000, $1,500 a month, whatever it might be, then they're going to be like, oh, we need public services because it turns out the people we're giving cash to are a bunch of losers, and losers waste money.
Irresponsible people, yeah.
Well, I mean, what's the difference between a loser and an irresponsible person?
I didn't say there was one.
Okay, just making sure. Because I don't mind using this kind of language. There are losers in the world, and the losers will show themselves, and I believe everybody has a purpose. And maybe that purpose is to serve as a bad example.
Yeah, hopefully so somebody else can learn from that example. But, Mark, did I hear you say that you don't oppose the idea of giving away money to everyone?
I don't necessarily oppose it. If you're going to give away money to people, I think that there's value to the negative income tax or the universal basic income or whatever as a social teaching tool.
And what are you teaching?
Proper behavior.
And where are you going to get the money from?
How does giving people money teach anything?
Where do they get it now?
Well, yeah, I want that to stop.
Well, right. Well, it sounds like you're arguing for welfare here.
I'm not arguing for welfare. I'm saying if you're going to distribute welfare, the social safety net system that we have currently is probably more efficient in keeping losers alive. But I don't think that necessarily, gives the right incentives to everybody else.
how would giving away money to everybody give anybody incentives? The incentive is to just blow money that people are given.
Because if you give, what's the number? Pick an arbitrary number.
$1,000 a month.
Yeah, in this case, it's $1,000.
$1,000 a month to everybody in America, and you don't have social programs, meaning no public school, no medical, no requirement of hospitals to pay for people, no medical treatment, no nothing. Then many people are not going to budget that $1,000 a month properly, and they're going to blow it on crack or heroin or whatever, and the consequences will be laying in the street with their teeth rotting out right in front of you.
But aren't you going to be inflating the money supply by doing that?
They inflate the money supply already.
Right. I'm confused. More coming up.
With nearly 70 years of history engineering bunkers, today, Atlas Survival Shelters is still the authority. Atlas offers 18 different choices, from commercial tornado shelters to underground nuclear fallout shelters, starting at just $99.99 with 100% financing available, comfortable interiors, and state-of-the-art air filtration systems. Atlas Survival Shelters are the most popular private survival shelters in the world. Call 1-855-4BUNKER now or visit atlassurvivalshelters.com.
North Korea openly threatens the U.S. and launches a new missile every other week. Their warhead of choice? Electromagnetic pulse. Such an event would cripple the U.S. power grid for years and leave millions in the dark. Are you ready? You can be with a Solarc EMP-hardened solar generator. Solarc works day in and day out to keep your essentials protected. You can have peace of mind knowing your power will be there when you most need it. Visit PortableSolarLLC.com to see EMP testing. That's PortableSolarLLC.com. Energy insurance for your family.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu. 641-793-9660. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, dial toll free, bring up whatever you want. Our toll free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And you can also join us on Skype. The Skype username is lrn.fm. We're talking about the so-called universal basic income, and we'll continue that discussion. But if you want to help build a better financial system for everyone, join Dash. Dash is digital cash. It's a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, it can be private and easy. Fees are low and transactions are quick and can be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. And Dash is decentralized and run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. So join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today and find out more at Dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now. Go to Dash.org, find out why.
Did you know Wirex, this is a company that offers debit cards, has now announced a partnership with Dash. And,
really?
Yeah, so there's, and as I understand it, it's not the first debit card that's proposed, so you can do business in Dash.
So wait, has it actually happened, or are they talking about doing it?
In the case of Wirex, it has not yet happened, but they have announced it.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I believe that there, according to the article, there are other cards that are doing it too.
Fantastic. Well, looking forward to whoever gets to it first so we can actually announce that it's a real thing. But that sounds very promising. There are some cool things that are being developed thanks to the Dash setup, to where they can actually take some of the mining proceeds from Dash and use those to promote Dash and to propagate it and get it into more places and get it onto more systems. And I think that's important, especially as we're seeing the ongoing fracturing of the Bitcoin protocol into what may end up being, by the end of this year, 4 different Bitcoin. So 4 competing different types of Bitcoin out there. We currently have 2 of them, Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin Cash. And supposedly later this month, there's going to be another hard fork into something called Bitcoin Gold. And then in November, there's going to be a SegWit 2x Bitcoin that is supposed to hard fork. So it's getting way confusing and crowded in the Bitcoin sphere. And the question is, how much longer is the market going to bear all of those Bitcoins?
Yeah.
I don't know. So Dash is a darn good alternative option.
You're not going to have that problem with Dash.
Well, I guess in theory you could have that problem with Dash, but it's not having that problem right now.
They've got a bit better sort of governance structure and a really good community.
They do, but what's to prevent somebody from hard forking off of Dash and creating Dash Part 2?
Anybody, I could hard fork off of Bitcoin tomorrow.
Yeah.
That doesn't make my hard fork relevant.
Right, it has to have miner support in order for it to be relevant, at least in Bitcoin. So you can join us here. We were talking about universal basic income, and Vincent, the story that you brought in is about some company that's testing this. And I had to run out of the room due to a fire alarm in another part of the building, so I don't know how far
Nothing's on fire.
Yeah, everything's fine. But I don't know how far you got in that, because we ended up just kind of generally talking about universal basic income. So what's going on here?
Well, the article is from a website called Futurism.com, and I browse it occasionally. It's a neat website that talks about different electric cars and VR, but it has...
I like that stuff.
I do too, but it has 3 obsessions. 1, Al Gore's version of global warming. 2, Elon Musk and everything he does.
Yeah.
And 3, universal basic income.
So do they believe Al Gore's version of global warming?
Oh, yeah.
The one that was in the movie that hasn't come to pass?
Yeah.
Or the...
I mean, his overall ideas and his version, his ideas on global
climate change. I would not discount anthropogenic global climate change out of hand, but the problem is that the people that purport it, that bring it down to sort of the consumable level for the masses, have made projections. And every time one of those projections is quantifiable, they're wrong, right? Like every time you can say, okay, what was predicted? What has happened? Nope, that hasn't occurred.
I had to look up anthropogenic. It is that which originates in human activity.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, my issue is they always end up wanting a carbon tax and wanting, a bigger state. And
as though a tax is going to somehow stop the the globe from getting warmer or colder.
There's one of these lunatics out there that says that humans will not survive the next 10 years, meaning that 90% of humans will die in the next 10 years.
From what?
And that was before, and he's like, oh yeah, and that was like a year ago when he made that prediction. And remember, he didn't say 10 years, he said won't make it 10 years. So he's projecting some number lower than 9.
Is the idea that we're going to die of heat exhaustion in that period of time, freeze to death?
He seems, he's sort of a professor type, so he looks like he has credentials, and B, vague. So maybe he just wants the coverage on YouTube channels for the next, few years. Because at some point, like when we get to year 6, I don't think anybody's going to believe him. Yes, we have had. I will concur that the last few years have been among the warmest years that have sort of been calculated.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean that we're going to die in 6 or 7 years.
No, I mean, there's places where they have temperatures of over 100 degrees and people live there, right?
Yeah.
Like
the polar ice caps aren't projected to melt. Like all the ice is not projected to melt, even at this rate, until for 500 years.
And that's just one model, too.
Right. And that's the problem with the models is that, let's not forget, every projection that has been made up to this point
has been wrong.
That I have found has been wrong. That they just don't. That the conservative claims don't seem to be enough to get people moving, so they make these radical claims. The radical claims are all untrue.
And I just brought that up. Sorry to go on to tangent, but just that's the point of view these people are coming from, right? I wouldn't doubt they want a THX 1138 kind of totally state-run society in the future. But
and what was the website again?
Futurism.com.
Futurism. All right.
So a title of the article is People in 2 U.S. states will get $1,000 a month in a new basic income trial. $1,000 for $1,000. Startup incubator Y Combinator.
Okay, I'm familiar with Y Combinator. They actually helped put Symbi and a few very big companies out. Y Combinator is not a joke.
Wow. All right.
Is expanding their research into the benefits of universal basic income, UBI. In a new blog post published on their company's website this week, they reveal their plans to pick 3,000 individuals from 2 states at random to receive a monthly cash handout. 1,000 participants will receive $1,000 per month for a period up to 5 years, while the other 2,000 will receive $50 per month, serving as the control group.
$50 per month is control group? I guess that it allows them to be tracked. So here's your $50 so that we can keep an eye on you.
All right.
That makes sense. Quote, a randomized trial is considered one of the best ways to evaluate the impact of a proposed social policy, wrote research director Elizabeth Rhodes.
Can't argue that.
By comparing a group of people who receive a basic income to an otherwise identical group of people who do not, we can isolate and quantify the effects of a basic income.
So I want to know, are they going to – so this just $1,000 that everybody gets. That means that they can use government schools. That means that they can use the, whatever government medical treatments out there. They can, whatever. They get food stamps, the whole deal, if that's what they want. But this is just to see if life gets better with a free $1,000.
It seems like a dumb idea because
I wonder if life will get better with a free $1,000.
I mean, because you're not – all of these experiments we've talked about so far, and there've been another one over in the Netherlands or Sweden or something like that.
They mentioned those. It gets better.
Yeah. You're not talking about universal basic income. You're talking about an experiment that is giving people money.
Right.
I mean, this might as well be Publishers Clearinghouse.
Right. So here's the problem. If some company gives how many is the people?
3,000.
3,000 people, $1,000 a month every month for the next 5 years. Yes, their life will get better. If the government gives everybody $1,000 every month for the rest of their lives, the government has to inflate the currency at a higher rate than it currently is, devaluing the dollar, thus playing Mickey Mouse economics.
Absolutely. That's why this is just an invalid comparison, but let's talk more about what their plan is here in moments. Free Talk Live.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The Crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the Crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the Crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
A new report by the Department of Health and Human Services has found that the average male is 4,000% less effective in fights than he imagines, casting powerful doubts on many men's claims that they could take someone out in 2 seconds or smash a guy's face in with their fist.
On average, men describing hypothetical fights overestimated their level of combat skill by a factor of 40, with 80% of males incorrectly predicting they could mess a guy up real bad with one solid punch to the jaw. During actual physical altercations, however, these men were statistically more likely to end up hurting themselves, or, most commonly, trying to diffuse the tension by nervously saying, "Hey man, let's all just calm down, okay?" before any fighting even came to pass.
Researchers discovered that men were significantly weaker than they verbally indicated while chatting with friends in bars and locker rooms, and that men who were 90% sure they could tear someone a new asshole tended to succeed in fewer than 1 in 10 fights.
This is the Onion News Network.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1. Share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com. Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You dial toll free, bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And you can Skype in at Skype username LRN.FM. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
It's Vincent.
And Mark.
If you're listening to us on a podcast platform, perhaps you're downloading the show via iTunes or Stitcher or some other podcast-related product that is allowing you to leave a rating for Free Talk Live, but you have not yet done that, then please take a moment and leave Free Talk Live a rating. If it's stars, then leave us however many stars you think we deserve. If you can write a review, take a moment to do that. Just leave a few sentences or whatever you feel so inspired to leave. Because the more people that rate us on those systems, the more likely those systems will show us to other people who've never heard of us before. So it can help us when you do that. Please take a moment and leave a rating for us when you are on your iTunes or Stitcher or whatever platform you're listening to us on. We appreciate you being out there listening and appreciate anybody leaving us a rating. As we continue here, we'll go to your calls and thoughts. More on the universal basic income. Vincent, you've got a little more to share from your story, and as to why these people believe that just giving 3,000 people in one city free check every month is somehow going to be a test of the idea of universal basic income. I don't get it. Obviously, the people putting this together don't really understand economics, but that we shouldn't be surprised about. Tom's in New Hampshire. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Tom.
Yeah, I think what happened in Las Vegas is that I think there's a sick contest going on about how many people can you murder. It's not like anybody is waging this contest. It's just a perceived contest as a challenge. How many people can somebody murder? And it's terrible that the shooter went out and killed innocent people that didn't deserve it. He should have gotten a bunch of drones and put guns on those and just, pick off cops, as many as he could. He could have probably taken out a lot of cops. On October 29, 1999, this cop in Winchester, Virginia, started trouble with a guy, and when the guy fought back and took out the cop, within a little while, it was like a couple hundred cops at the scene from as far away as Fairfax, Virginia, Fairfax County. And, if he had done that, there would have been, the only thing the enemy can do about it is to send more targets to the scene. And so, then he'd be in heaven right now if he did that, because rebellion to tyrants is obedience to God, as Thomas Jefferson was fond of saying.
I wouldn't test God's resolve on that particular one. Thanks.
Tom, I don't agree that violence is the solution. I understand why people are frustrated with the police. They do appear to be doing the wrong thing a lot of the time. They are the ones who are oppressing innocent, peaceful people. So I get the frustration, but I don't think that violence is the seed that you want to sow if you want to ever have peace. I thank you for the call tonight. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, and maybe Tom doesn't want peace. 855-450-3733.
He certainly doesn't want to do whatever it is he claims to do. He wants other people. to do,
he wants everybody else to run with his ideas. Let's go to another call from New Hampshire. This one more sane. Dave Ridley is on the line with us here via Skype. Hello, Dave.
Hey, guys. I wanted to update you a little bit with regard to just another update on NH Exit, basically.
That's the one of the movements for secession here in New Hampshire. It's part of a kind of a larger overarching movement, which involves a think tank, the Foundation for New Hampshire Independence, and then also individuals, and now nhexit.com. What's the latest?
Well, the independence drives in Kurdistan and Catalonia have triggered a sort of a spike in activity with our guys. It seems like there's just like more. I had to scroll way down on our Facebook group today just to get to the thing I was trying to talk to you about.
Facebook posts are not activity. I'd like to point out that is an illusion of activity. That's just people posting on the internet.
You said something nice about Facebook.
Doesn't count. Doesn't count. Real activity involves real life. Sorry, but go ahead.
Okay, let's talk about the real life part.
Yeah.
What I was trying to scroll down to get to was some of the quotes from Speaker Jasper, who denounced our independence endeavor. He's the House Speaker in New Hampshire, and he has also denounced, I guess, some candidates who are running for office in Manchester. And I wanted to give you the exact quote. He says,
"Sure.
Quote, doesn't it concern you that 5 of these candidates want New Hampshire to withdraw from the United States of America? I would never consider voting for anyone who doesn't believe in being part of the USA. I am a proud American," unquote. So he was denouncing, I think, mostly Republican.
You know what I'm worried about? I'm worried about a Republican that gets voted for by Democrats, and that's what Jasper is.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a good sign. but it is a good sign to be denounced by him, and I think that's helpful.
Was he attacking Shire Dude? Because I know Shire Dude is running for the city council out there in Manchester.
He was probably one of the 5 that was denounced, but I'm not sure.
Gotcha. Because there's a group out there called Granite State Progress that has been on the attack for years against libertarians here in New Hampshire, specifically trying to out so-called Free State Project participants.
Imagine a
in their
group
elections.
of Democrats working with Republicans with whom they disagree 100% of the time in order to denounce a group of people, libertarians, that they disagree with 70% of the time. This is the dumbest tactic that you could possibly come up with.
Well, they disagree with us on the most fundamental issue, which is to say that these people want to have the state and they want it to continue in its role and make it larger, whereas the libertarians want to get the government out of people's lives. They want to make the state smaller. So we disagree on a pretty fundamental issue, and they see the libertarian influx here as a major threat, which is why they are organizing speeches and websites and hit piece flyers and mailers to go out against the libertarian candidates here in New Hampshire. Now, the libertarians sometimes run as Republicans or Democrats, so they'll do their best to out those people as so-called free staters or liberty-minded folks because they believe that's going to harm them. I personally welcome the attention. I think it's great news. When you're running a political campaign, advertising is expensive. And if you were to buy, let's say, a direct mail campaign to 10,000 households, you're going to be spending $5,000 on postage alone, and let alone the actual printing costs of some sort of a flyer that then needs to be shipped out. So go ahead and just call it $10,000 to mail 10,000 households, and that's without me having actually done any recent quotes on that. But it's not going to be cheap. And when these haters actually spend the money and the time to make a hit piece flyer that actually does a pretty good job of summarizing your positions, like this candidate wants to get the government out of, fill in the blank. This candidate wants to lower taxes.
This candidate wants to destroy public school.
Right. I mean, they put this stuff out there, and it's like, wow, thanks for the publicity. Thanks for...
They're getting better. Like, I agree with you, Ian, that some of their first flyers were like that, but they're getting better at not doing the pieces that advertise people's positions in a positive light.
I haven't noticed that.
Well, I can tell you that something's happening in New Hampshire's House that isn't happening in any others. That essentially, it's going from a battle between Democrats and Republicans to a battle between statists and non-statists.
Oh, really?
And well, that's the claim that people that are in the House.
Okay.
And I find that fascinating, but at this point, we don't have the non-statist troops to stand against the statists.
Well, we need more people to move here, obviously. We need more libertarians and freedom-loving people to pick up their lives and move here to New Hampshire so we can get active and actually have a greater chance to oppose this. I mean, we've had a tremendous success so far with just a couple thousand people having moved. If we can get 10,000 more and then more after that, I think that would be fantastic. But unfortunately, it's a long road that we're on here, and I'm glad you're a part of it, Dave Ridley. Go ahead, Dave. Oh, sounds like he might have dropped his phone or something like that.
Skype.
All right. So, well, thank you for the call, Dave. Appreciate hearing from you tonight. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Let's go to Patrick. He's in Bullhead City, Arizona. Patrick, you're on Free Talk Live, listening to K-Talks.
Hey, my two favorite guys. How are you tonight?
Hey, there's actually three guys here, but anyway.
But we can still be your two favorite. Go ahead.
Okay. Hey, I just wanted to say, guys, with all that went on this weekend, I just want to give a shout-out to the guys that actually were out there and doing what they're paid to do and they put their lives on the line. And unfortunately,
you're talking about the roadies at the concert outside of Mandalay Bay?
We're talking everybody, law enforcement, police.
But didn't the roadies put their lives on the line? I mean,
he said everybody.
Okay, everybody. All right, hang on, Patrick. We'll bring you back. It's Free Talk Live.
Do you trust our economy? How about our banking system?
Our president has stated we are sitting on a bubble right now, and that when the Fed raises interest rates, bad things are going to happen. Well, the Fed is raising rates here and now. There has never been a better time to turn your IRA or 401k into physical gold or silver with GSI Exchange. Call 833-GSI-GOLD. GSI Exchange can make this happen fast, and it's money you control, not the big banks. 833-GSI-GOLD. Ask about our bank failure survival guide and learn how your qualified IRA transfer can get you $1,500 in free physical gold or silver delivered right to your home. GSI Exchange has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Call GSI Exchange at 833-GSI-GOLD. That's 833-474-4653. Or visit us on the web at gsi.gold.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, October 3rd, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.63 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,273 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.4 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $4,421. Antiwar.com reports talk of Iraq, Iran, and Turkey responding to Kurdistan's secession vote with military action seems to be growing more serious. Kurdish officials now say that Iran has deployed a dozen tanks and accompanying artillery to their border with Iraqi Kurdistan. Kurdish officials say that the tanks can be seen from their side of the border, dubbing the deployment a dangerous escalation. The Iranian government presented it as part of a joint military drill with Iraq. 92% of Kurdish voters were in favor of seceding from Iraq, and Kurdish officials say there is no going back after the vote. The effort is opposed by the rest of the region, however, and Iran and Turkey, who both have Kurdish minorities of their own, are particularly averse to a precedent for a Kurdish right to self-determination. The Kurdish Peshmerga is a substantial military faction bolstered by being armed by the United States for the war against the Islamic State. Still, it's not clear how capable they would be in defending Iraqi Kurdistan if it comes to an invasion by all of their neighbors. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the U.S. Supreme Court started its new term on Monday, and with that comes a load of fresh cases that could impact everything from religious freedom, government surveillance, and election laws in the country. It marks the High Court's first full term with Justice Neil Gorsuch, nominated to replace Antonin Scalia, who died February 13, 2016. The Supreme Court took a docket that spans some of the most contentious debates in the country. Should a Christian baker be allowed to refuse to make a wedding cake for a same-sex couple on religious grounds? Can the government access a person's cell phone records without a warrant? To what extent can the courts weigh in on voting districts and whether they favor one party over another? Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system and to fully capitalize on that decision in their fundraising efforts. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. Reuters reports a retiree armed with multiple assault rifles peppered an outdoor country music festival in Las Vegas from a high-rise hotel window on Sunday, slaughtering at least 59 people before killing himself. The barrage of gunfire from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel into a crowd of 22,000 people came in extended bursts that lasted several minutes as throngs of terrified music fans desperately cowered on the open ground, hemmed in by their fellow concert goers, while others at the edge tried to flee. More than 525 people were injured, some by gunfire or shrapnel, some trampled in the pandemonium adjacent to the Las Vegas Strip as police scrambled to locate the assailant. Police identified the gunman as Stephen Paddock, who lived in a retirement community in Mesquite, Nevada. Authorities said they believe he acted alone, though his motive was unknown. At least a dozen people were in critical condition at University Medical Center in Las Vegas, where the most seriously injured victims were taken. Clark County Sheriff Joseph Lombardo told reporters Paddock had no criminal record. The gunman killed himself before police entered the hotel room where he was firing. Lombardo said 16 rifles were found in the room where Paddock killed himself, some with scopes and some that appear to have been modified in an attempt to convert them into machine guns. Lombardo said the gunman apparently used a device similar to a hammer to smash the windows from which he fired in the two-room hotel suite where he had been staying since Thursday. Chris Sullivan, the owner of the Guns and Guitar Shop in Mesquite, issued a statement confirming that Paddock was a customer who cleared all necessary background checks and procedures. Sullivan added, Paddock never gave any indication or reason to believe he was unstable or unfit at any time, adding that his business was cooperating with investigators. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Shortly after posting for the 10,000th time on his Twitter account earlier today, despite only ever accumulating 15 followers, local man Aaron Gartner announced he's about ready to quit the popular microblogging site.
Well, I opened my account about 2 years ago and tweeted pretty much every day since, and it didn't really turn out like I expected. I thought, once I hit 8,000 tweets, I could get some traction, start getting more followers, but it never really happened. I mean, I gave it my best shot, I guess, but I think I'm about done here.
He has yet to be followed by anyone beyond a handful of friends, family members, and seemingly inactive accounts.
This one time I tweeted out a pretty good joke about how out of control Lindsay Lohan is, and it actually got me a retweet. It was from this guy in Argentina I don't know, who doesn't have any followers, and he's not following anyone else. Oh, hold on a sec. Apparently my aunt's following me now. Cool.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll free, bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We're launching into the second hour of the program. Of course, you can bring up anything. That is the point of Free Talk Live. Our Skype username is LRN.FM. And again, the toll-free number 855-450-FREE. With you tonight, it's Ian.
It's Vincent.
And Mark.
Back to Patrick in Bullhead City, Arizona, listening to K-Talks. He's a police officer there in Arizona. Patrick, you wanted to call and compliment. It sounded like the police for coming to the rescue when they did there in Las Vegas.
Well, it wasn't just the police. It was everybody. I mean, the doctors, the nurses. They were flying in nurses from... or bringing nurses in from out of state. The hospitals were just mobbed. And the one thing I want to just get out to you folks, and this is to everybody, is whatever you do, if you can donate blood, donate blood.
Yep.
Because I'll tell you, you can donate millions of dollars, but it isn't going to replace the fact that if somebody needs blood to survive, because they've lost it. They can't buy that. You have to be there. And for all the people that came out and donated, we're still short out here. And
Yep.
just to reach out to everybody, in all of the United States, our blood banks, we have a resource that we can use if you want to help the situation, and you don't even have to be political about it. You can save a life. And I'm telling you right now, what we were scared. I mean, we're right on the border of Laughlin, Nevada, which is Clark County, which is part of Las Vegas.
Yeah, you're not far.
And I'll tell you, adrenaline's been going since Sunday. I've talked to people. We had to check up on some of the officers that were actually at the concert. Thank God they're okay. Plus families that we knew. And I'll tell you, it was a very frightening thing. And I just wanted to give a shout out to everybody who helped out there. And for those victims, our prayers are with you. And just, everybody, don't go crazy out there, but go out there and donate. Do something you can do positive. You guys always say that I'm one of the good guys, but I'm telling you right now that it's not going to hurt you to go out there, and maybe you'll save somebody that you don't even know, but maybe 10 years from now, that person will be that person that's going to help you.
Could very well be. That's a great perspective. And Patrick, thanks for sharing it tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number, if you want to join us here, 855-450-FREE, freedom.
The blood bank system in
You'd
this
wanted
country,
to talk about this last night.
So the American Association of Blood Banks, or whatever, these organizations are largely all tied together. When you give in Bangor, Maine, you are giving to the system that will then provide blood to the people there.
Maine, they're not going to fly that out to Vegas, right?
Nope, they're not. But what'll happen is that hospitals that are closer, that it's kind of like a shuttle system.
Mm-hmm.
The blood banks that are closer will be sending their blood to Vegas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then those hospitals will be, or those blood banks will be depleted. So then blood banks around them in a larger concentric circle will send blood to them. And then they'll send. So everybody sort of sends it in, and it's effective. You can give blood. As a matter of fact, you can give blood on the continent. You can give blood in Canada and expect that blood at some point to get potentially to fill up coffers that went to Vegas. Yeah.
Now, where do you have to go to give blood? Is that any old hospital or a blood bank specifically?
Yeah, blood bank.
Just look that up in the phone book?
The American Red Cross.
I remember in
services
Florida
a lot.
there was like a thing called the Blood Mobile. I knew that thing drove around all over the place.
The Blood Mobile is a system to get people who won't go to the blood bank to give blood.
I see. Okay, so there's a specific place called a blood bank, and that's where you go.
Yeah, you can.
Now, are they in most larger cities or smaller cities?
Something's a bit larger. The American Red Cross will often just service the smaller areas.
I Googled blood bank Keene, and the first thing that comes up is the redcrossblood.org website. And then the next thing is it's also from redcrossblood.org, but it's St. Bernard Church, and it's a schedule.
Bernard's, yep.
So they have a certain time where people show up and then you go?
Here it says schedule a blood donation appointment at this location.
Oh, you can do it by appointment?
According to this, yes.
Huh. All right, so there you go.
So they have specific times they do it in Keene, but I'm not talking about people who might be donating in Keene, New Hampshire. Our audience is so much larger than that. You're going to have to go search, but it's worth your time. I am a 2-gallon donor.
Now, isn't it true that they refuse blood from people who are gay or drug users?
I believe yes. If you're an intravenous drug user since some period of time,
just intravenous.
Yeah.
Okay.
They will turn you down.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have, not if you're gay, but if you've had sex with a man since like 1980 or something like that.
So anyone who's had sex with a man?
Yeah, man who's had sex with a man.
Okay. Got it. Why is that?
I don't know.
It's because
AIDS.
From what I read, assuming you have had sex with a man in a certain place, I'm trying to find a word.
Increases the chance of an HIV infection?
Because the blood. Yeah, because the wall, right? The skin wall is thin because things aren't supposed to be lodged up there, and you could have micro cuts on your penis, and you could have it's easier to get blood compared to regular sex.
It's easier to get AIDS.
Yeah,
yeah. That seems to be the case. So you can bring up whatever you want, whether it's giving blood or anything that's on your mind. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE with, I don't know what the current death toll is, but as of last night it was like 59 or something like that from the shooting, the mass shooting in Vegas. And apparently now pictures of the now dead alleged assailant are making the rounds on the internet after he ostensibly committed suicide in
Yeah, it's a
his
pretty gross
hotel room.
picture.
Our toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE like freedom. Has anybody heard anything about his motivations yet? I mean, did he leave a note or anything like that?
Yeah, there was a pad with paper, a pad and paper there. Presumably there are notes. There's video of the whole incident.
Taken by him?
Yep.
Oh, my gosh.
And, I mean, I think we're going to find this information out.
Wow.
But at this point, I don't have any information. It's just it's a real anomaly. I don't understand what this guy could possibly be doing other than trying to prove the point that, and this is the only rational excuse I can come up with, not to say any of this was rational, and I don't believe it was. That's my guess is this guy's nuts. But if you want me to take some kind of wild guess, I'd say maybe he's trying to prove guns are dangerous and, automatic weapons are more dangerous or something.
Apparently he worked as an IRS agent.
So you got a government
in the
bureaucrat.
80s.
I was listening to the radio today, and I think it said he had a lot of gambling debt at the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's I can't really source it, but that's what I was listening to. And allegedly, from some rumors say they found political materials on him, but they're probably not going to release the footage anytime soon, like Columbine's basement tapes.
Somebody claimed he was a Bernie guy, but I don't know if there's any proof for that.
We don't even know if it was him
people
who
are saying
did
all
it.
kinds of stuff at this point.
Yeah. If you know anything, feel free to weigh in. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Let's go to Stefan. He's in Ohio on Skype. Hello, Stefan.
I've been hearing theories about this all day, and I, by the way, had just seen the photograph of him dead. You can actually see the revolver that he supposedly killed himself with several feet back, but which had surprised me. He had apparently killed himself with the revolver. Call me crazy, but when I look at the picture, it looks an awful lot like there's a bullet wound in his chest. This whole situation is just confusing. However, a friend of mine had actually come up with a pretty weird theory for it, that maybe this guy's girlfriend in the Philippines was being held hostage, and possibly the only way to get her back would be to comply with some terrorist group.
There's a theory.
Huh. Is there any evidence for that?
Not at the moment exactly, but it's pretty compelling.
Well, in order for it to be compelling, there should be some sort of evidence backing it, in my opinion.
But what evidence do you have that they're going to give up your girlfriend and then why shoot yourself afterwards?
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
Well, I mean, Stefan's been calling in with the conspiracy theories about this. If you've got more, Stefan, hang on. We'll bring it back here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. You join us on the radio. This is Free Talk Live.
Don't do what I did and run out. If it's working, don't quit. Why would you stop? Why undo all the good that's been accomplished?
You've got to feed them right for life.
Dynavite is nutrition.
If I ever took Roy off of Dynavite...
No.
When I get to about 3/4...
When I get down to the bottom of my box of Dynavite, oh no, I've got a couple more scoops. It's time to place my order. Dynavite.com. DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of Super Omega Fish Oil free.
Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Omega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Free this week at Dynavite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dynavite.
Dynavite for life.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Dash is digital cash.
a digital currency designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime, for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is the first digital money that's governed by its users. Join Dash and help us build a better financial system for everyone. Find out more at dash.org. That's dash.org.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, dial toll free, bring up anything you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and you can Skype in here at Skype username LRN.FM.
Yeah, I got my Blink home security system, and it was delivered right to my door. I didn't have to go anywhere to get it. It was really great. I downloaded the app. It walked me right through the whole process. It was easy to set up, even with my router system, which isn't ordinary. And I was done in 10 minutes, maybe. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check in whenever I want, right on my phone. So I can either get a notification on my phone, it'll chime in. You can set the chimes differently. You can set the time, so maybe you don't want, maybe you want to set it in your living room, and you don't want activity between 6 p.m. and midnight.
You don't want it going off the whole time you're there.
Right. Fine. You can handle that. Not a problem. You get, and we got you a great deal. You get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys will charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. So 3 cams, and the whole thing will be 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. You got to put in that FTL if you want to get that 10%. blinkprotect.com/FTL. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL.
All right, let's continue with your calls and thoughts here. Stefan is on the line in Ohio via Skype. Called in last night with some conspiracy theory about the shooting in Vegas, which you got a little bit more tonight. What else you want to share?
Well, yesterday I had talked about multiple shooters being a possibility, and today there's actually been quite a number of videos circulating showing some flashes around the 3rd or 4th floor of the building as opposed to the 32nd floor. So that could definitely add to the possibility of multiple shooters. Now, I'm not in the camp of like Alex Jones and all the loons out there.
What is Alex Jones claiming after this?
That this is a plot by the deep state like Sandy Hook, just as an attempt to take everybody's guns away.
Well, wait, didn't Alex Jones say previously that Sandy Hook was fake? And then finally, when he was called out on national television by, I believe, one of the Fox News correspondents, he actually apologized?
I had never heard him retract his comments.
Yeah, I believe he did.
What he said was, and it was Megyn Kelly on Megyn Kelly's show, and he released a full interview. It was pretty, deceptively edited. He said he claims he was playing devil's advocate. And I do remember when Sandy Hook happened, what Alex Jones was talking about. And he had some of his guests that said it was a false flag. Other guests he had on said it wasn't. But
what did he say?
He was never really clear. I don't remember him dedicating to one. I remember at some points he would say he had a dream and a bad feeling the day before, but over the years he says, we don't know what happened, but something fishy was going on. So there's no way really to know. That was his official opinion. And sorry, go ahead.
No, you got it.
And on this, Alex Jones isn't claiming it was a false flag. He's I think some of his employees on the other shows he runs said that it is, like Rob Dew, on the War Room show, and I'm of that belief.
I think the most important thing to do here, and whenever any disaster strikes, is to be the first person to claim it's a false flag.
Now, what would a false flag mean in this particular case? It doesn't mean that it didn't happen, which is what some people have claimed about Sandy Hook, which is a ridiculous insult to the people that have had their children killed in that situation. Is the idea that this guy is a government patsy?
That's what I've heard somewhere, and a lot of people, believe it or not, are claiming this is fake. Like, there's a video circulating now, and some people are saying there's a guy running around in the crowd of the people after the shooting, and people are like, oh, that totally looks like a dummy. There's no gunshot wounds on this guy.
Crisis actors.
Yeah. They're claiming. So you're telling me the paranoid kooks on the internet are actually trying to claim that there wasn't a shooter mowing down dozens and dozens of people in Vegas over the weekend?
Yes, it is being claimed that a lot of the people that were injured were just actors.
This is so ridiculous. These people.
I wouldn't say they're all just a paranoid kooks. I think in some cases, some of these Share Blue and other like provocateurs and these like troll companies, right? That like the anti-gun lobby hires to put out insane conspiracy theories to cause disinfo and confusion and to discredit.
You think that the conspiracy theories that are out there are being put out by companies?
The really wild ones, like the Twin Towers are brought down by a laser satellite. That disinfo agents.
You don't think they're just crazy people out there?
There are some, but I think it's fair to believe that some people put out fake conspiracy theories on purpose to discredit the more legitimate ones.
I don't see how believing that an alien death ray took down the towers is going to discredit the other conspiracy theories out there that are more plausible.
Well, it's because people would say, "Oh, do you also believe in alien?" It's like people associate the two together. So when someone says, "Oh, my website so and so 9/11 truth," they say, "Oh, well, do you believe that death ray? I saw that on the internet," and they say, "Well, of course not."
I'm sorry. I find that hysterical for some reason. I'm sorry if I'm being a little loud here.
Yeah, most of these conspiracy theories that surround the most recent crisis just make me want to believe whatever the mainstream media tells me.
Don't think that I'm being a crazy conspiracy theorist. We don't even have the full story. I'm not saying anything against them.
Well, we don't have the full story, but we don't need the full story.
The government's claiming they have a full story. I saw the sheriff said, "Oh, we are 100% sure there was only one shooter." They refused to really.
Then I don't buy that.
What's that?
Okay, then that's what I'm saying. If the sheriff and the government says there's only one shooter and there's at least decent evidence to say that there were multiple ones.
There's a strobe light and a bunch of people saying, "I don't know where the bullets are coming from." That's not decent evidence of anything.
No, it's not. We don't know that it's a strobe light. There's
yes, we do. It flashes the whole time. It doesn't flash like a gun. It's just going all the time. Flashy, flashy, flashy. It's not
You're
even
saying
like
you've seen the video of this so-called fourth floor thing? Is that what you're referring to? Okay. Yeah, I haven't I haven't watched that.
I'm saying even then there might not have even been another guy. People have been calling me crazy all day for believing a second shooter. Sorry, I don't think some guy, because they showed his gun that he supposedly used.
There's more than one gun. There were supposedly
a cache of guns up there.
Yeah, more than 10 guns.
And they refused to release any footage, right? How do we...
It's none of your damn business right now. They're doing a freaking investigation.
Yeah, and then
I want to see multiple bags coming in here. I want to see all of these guns before I believe that he's the only shooter. A slide fire stock is completely inaccurate. You're not going to be able to use it from that height and hit things. And I'm sorry, people are like, well, he wasn't trying to shoot accurately, but the spread would be ridiculous on that, and people were already scattering.
If you're shooting, I don't know whether the risk spread. Okay, you're talking about a concert with tens of thousands of people at it. Yeah, you would have a wide spread, but a bump action is going to be fine in that circumstance. You can keep, and you know what? You waste some bullets, you've got a whole bunch of rounds.
Point at the crowd, you're going to hit people. I mean, that's what happens.
But this is being talked about in the media like a slide fire magically functions like a full auto. Oh, you just pull down the trigger.
But that's because the liberals want to outlaw bump fires.
But I'm saying that it would
be
impossible.
Bump fire is a modification to a semi-automatic gun to allow it to fire on and on, right? Like where you don't have to keep pulling the trigger.
In reality, when you use it, there's a lot of different steps you have to do. You have to make sure you're holding it right.
Yeah.
You don't really pull the trigger as much as you do pull the
You're pulling the gun. Yeah, I've done it with an AK in the past. And yeah, it's not going to be accurate, but accuracy is not a requirement for this particular operation, as we explained last night. Stefan, thanks for the call tonight. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom. If you want to join us and take control of the airwaves, bring up some poppycock conspiracy theory, you're certainly welcome to. To say that it didn't happen at all, boy, man, some of these people are in their own world.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. $39.95 plus shipping and handling. Use discount code GCN and receive 15% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter and get your Bug Assault today.
You've heard the phrase, you are what you eat? Not true. Actually, you are what you can absorb. So if the vitamins and supplements you now take are not being absorbed, what good are they? Introducing Protovite, proprietary liquid system that allows premium quality nutrients to positively affect the blood in an astonishing 5 minutes. Watch our amazing 2-minute live blood cell video at TrueHealthFacts.com. That's TrueHealthFacts.com. Then call 502-410-3411. Protovite is nutrition you can feel. Protovite is nutrition that gets in.
A congressman recently revealed that legislation totaling 2,900 pages and involving more than $1 trillion was available to members of Congress for less than 48 hours to study and consider. That's over 60 pages of legislation per hour. Do you think anyone read the entire bill? I'm Jim Babka with DownsizeDC.org. Consider a proposal buried in a 3,200-page, $388 billion bill, which would have empowered committee chairmen or their agents to examine Americans' tax returns. When this horrible provision came to light, no one claimed to know how it got into the bill. One congressman questioned said, "I didn't write it, I didn't approve it, I wasn't even consulted." If your attorney represented you this way, he might be disbarred. But this is how Congress represents you every day. That's why DownsizeDC.org has created the Read the Bills Act. You can force Congress to read their bills before they pass them at DownsizeDC.org.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up what you want. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733, and you can Skype in at Skype username LRN.FM. Want to make sure you know that you can go on our website to get signed up for our email list. We'll send you an email at least once per week to keep you in the loop with what's happening with Free Talk Live. You can go to freetalklive.com. You'll find the email sign-up box right there in the center, sort of middle of the site. Easy to sign up, and then you'll get our email. So head over to freetalklive.com and do that when you get a chance. Let's go to your phone calls and thoughts. We'll start out here with Tom. He's in Baltimore. Tom, you're on Free Talk Live, listening online.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
I just wanted to say that Patrick, the police officer from Arizona, I think it is, he does seem like a really nice guy.
Yep.
I'm on board with you all. I second that motion. Good going, Patrick.
Very good.
I used to tell my trainees that being respectful to people, regardless of how they treat you, should always be their first course of action that they take. Being respectful and kind to those that disrespect you when you're on the job is a hallmark of being a professional police officer. And I just get the feeling
That's a hallmark of being a professional anybody. I mean,
But I think police have to deal with it more often than most. I mean, as a radio ad exec, it is pretty rare. It happens, but it's pretty rare that I've had to deal with jerks on the job. Whereas with a police officer, any given Sunday, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's not that hard, and I get the feeling that Patrick is just such a professional police officer, so I thank him for that.
All right.
He gives the profession a good name. Anyway, here's a crazy conspiracy theory for you.
Oh, boy.
How about this one? The FBI knew everything about the plans for the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, as well as the 2001 Trade Center downings.
The FBI definitely knew about 1993, right? Like, that's pretty much established.
That's proven, yeah.
Well, they knew about it in 1990, actually. In fact, my old boss was a detective in New York. At the time, he had just taken over command of the detectives within, I think it was Manhattan. But there was a rabbi, his name was Rabbi Kahane. He was quite controversial. He was assassinated at the Marriott, and it was his first day on the job, and that was a big deal. So they went ahead, they made the arrests, plural. The fellow who was charged with actually pulling the trigger was an Egyptian named El Said Nasser. Now, the two co-conspirators were also arrested. Their house was raided in New Jersey, and a big file cabinet containing all the plans, pictures of the trade towers, plans for the bombing, all kind of military manuals and other landmarks that were targeted, were seized. And when they went in to meet with the chief of D's, my boss was told that, he was asked rather, kind of told, the chief of D said, you can make this case with just the shooter, right? He said, well, no, it's a conspiracy. There are two other co-conspirators who had the getaway car and were intimately involved. All three should be charged, of course. And he looked at him and he said, you shut up. Conspiracies are for the FBI. Make the case. Now, he was a young lieutenant commander, and he wasn't going to go up against the chief of D. After all, it is a paramilitary organization, so he shut up. Now, they found out later that, in fact, what the FBI had taken from their office without their permission were all of these plans, and they did nothing with it. Now, he testified before Congress, I believe it was in 2000, or maybe it was just after the Trade Center downings in 2001. He said, you know what, I just couldn't shut up anymore. And, in fact, he was indicted shortly thereafter for something that was quite petty. He didn't cross all the T's and dot all the I's on a mortgage application. That was ostensibly what he was being arrested for, and he was convicted, and he went to jail. And that's what happens to good cops who try to do the right thing. A lot of people say, well, why don't the good cops do the right thing? His name he was commissioner of the Baltimore Police Department when he was my boss, Commissioner Ed Norris. You can look him up. All this is verifiable. You don't have to take my word for it. But that's traditionally what happens to good cops. And I think, Ian, I've told you about my history. When good cops try to do the right thing, usually they end up behind bars. And but we got to keep trying, and we do. But conspiracy theories. Listen, a lot of them are crazy, but a lot of them are very, very true.
That's
and by the way,
not something I would argue with. Before you go on, it's not something I would argue with. The thing is that we don't know, and I don't like it. What upsets me is when we jump. There's a race for everybody to say, no matter what the tragedy is, a race to say, hey, I know what the conspiracy is, or to take some witness on site's word that, oh my God, there must be 9 shooters, and those kind of things. And I mean,
Mark, I could not agree with you more. Absolutely. When I hear people just go off and basically tell a story that's conjecture they think is true, it's very upsetting because they're not really putting out factual information. Now, if they have, if they're an expert in a particular subject matter, like I can say certain things about certain incidents where I'm a subject matter expert and have been qualified so in courts of law, but I can't say anything about things that I don't know about. For example, I can talk about witness testimony that I've heard because that was a particular area of expertise for me, interviewing interrogation. But when it comes to forensic analysis of certain things, I don't know. Listen, people talk about the gunshots that they've heard. Now, listen, I've heard AKs fire. I've heard AR-15s fire. It sounds to me like there is 2 separate guns going off, but people don't understand that ballistic signature acoustic forensics is a science into itself. And I can only tell people that what little I know about the forensic science of ballistic signature identification is this. So many things come into play when you're trying to identify those things. The angle of fire, the azimuth, you're getting into mathematical things. Echoes, temperature of the air, what it was recorded on, what angle, I could go on and on, but you get the picture.
Sure.
So, Mark, I agree with you. When people just go off and say, listen, I know for sure this, and this, I think, what a fool. You're spreading lies, and you're really throwing people off of what really could be.
Even if you were there, even if you were there, it would be hard to discern.
Right. That's another thing that I really dislike is if we get if we interview somebody who says, I think that there were 3 shooters, they don't know. I mean, I've been on the site of, at accident scenes as a fireman. I'm at accident scenes on a relatively. I don't know what's going on all the time. I know what's going on for me.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, Mark, what I really dislike is when people automatically believe any stooge the government puts up. When they say, "Oh, well, this government expert here, we're in on it."
The government isn't putting up anything. It's the media, and I can tell you this about the media. Every story you hear has a fact that's wrong. Every story.
Sure. Well, I'm not trying to.
On the morning news, lying on CNN about the bump flyer stock. He was being led, just like a stooge on the witness stand, by this female reporter. I can't remember her name, saying, "Well, I can't believe as a retired ATF agent, you're not against these bump fire stocks. They essentially turn a legal weapon into a fully automatic machine gun." And he was just going along with it, agreeing. And listen, it's everything but the truth. A bump fire stock, by the way, does not make a weapon fully automatic. It mimics a little bit, but you've got to practice. I think one of you mentioned that with these bump fire stocks, it's not just pop it on. It's really just a piece of plastic and pull the trigger. Really, what it's used.
Tom, thank you, man. I appreciate hearing from you. It's Free Talk Live. Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
Happy, the rescue dog. He was missing hair, stinky, scabby, but I have a vet that I trust, and she recommended Dinovite.
Order a 90-day supply of Dinovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of Super Mega Fish Oil free.
Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Free this week at Dinovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
North Korea openly threatens the U.S. and launches a new missile every other week. Their warhead of choice? Electromagnetic pulse. Such an event would cripple the U.S. power grid for years and leave millions in the dark. Are you ready? You can be with a Solarc EMP-hardened solar generator. Solarc works day in and day out to keep your essentials protected. You can have peace of mind knowing your power will be there when you most need it. Visit PortableSolarLLC.com to see EMP testing. That's PortableSolarLLC.com. Energy insurance for your family.
With nearly 70 years of history engineering bunkers, today, Atlas Survival Shelters is still the authority. Atlas offers 18 different choices, from commercial tornado shelters to underground nuclear fallout shelters, starting at just $99.99 with 100% financing available, comfortable interiors, and state-of-the-art air filtration systems. Atlas Survival Shelters are the most popular private survival shelters in the world. Call 1-855-4BUNKER now or visit atlassurvivalshelters.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Ovaltine. Give your kids the nutrition they need to be their best. Visit us at ovaltineusa.com. Telling your child about healthy food choices is important, but showing her what to eat goes a lot further.
Have her help create the grocery list, then bring her to the store with you. Picking out healthy foods together helps kids get in the habit of thinking about what they're eating every day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll free and join us right here. Our number is 855-450. Free like freedom. 855-450-3733. And we have Skype. Our Skype username is LRN.FM. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
It's Vincent.
And Mark.
And don't forget to check out saveatpurse.com if you want to get access to deep discounts on the purchases that you make from Amazon. Save AT-Purse, saveatpurse.com. You go there and you load up your Amazon wish list and then select your discount. I recently actually got 33% off something that I ordered through.
You get the discount you want. What's the maximum? 33?
33% maximum. Now, it's not really 33 because Purse takes a cut of the discount.
And it gets higher with a higher fee, right?
I believe it does, yeah.
So, but nonetheless, you pick your discount, and that's pretty cool. What store is letting you do that?
None. In fact, Amazon doesn't even know that's what's happening because Purse is kind of an intermediary. It allows people who want to buy Bitcoin to pay a premium for the Bitcoin that they want to buy, meaning that if you want to get 20% off your order at Amazon, somebody has to be willing to pay 20% more than the cost of Bitcoin in order to get your Bitcoin, because that's the catch with SaveItPurse.com is you have to have Bitcoin or cryptocurrency to get these discounts. That's how this system works. If you've got cash, sorry, you can't use saveatpurse.com. But if you've got cryptocurrency, you can save big time on your purchases there. I actually got a dash cam at 33% off. And if you're not in a hurry, you can try setting it high at like 30 or 33% and see if somebody bites. I was actually surprised that somebody bought that within like 24 hours or so. Normally,
that's pretty fast. But even so, you just still had a dashboard 3 weeks later, right?
Right. It can take, if you're at the higher levels, it can take a week sometimes for somebody to buy it. But you never know. And so you don't know unless you try it. And if you're in more of a rush, try for 10 or 15% off. And usually those are going to go within a matter of hours, if not a day, from when you place the order. So check it out. It works. I've used it more than 100 times over 3 years. And it saved me over $1,800 on stuff I was going to buy anyway.
It's high praise from a cheapskate like you.
Save at Purse, saveatpurse.com. Let's go to Ricky. He's in Pennsylvania. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Go ahead, Ricky.
Brother Ian, I love you. I'll take my hat off for you there. Thank you so much.
We'll take your word for it.
No, I took my hat off for you there, Brother Ian.
All right.
I always tell the truth, Brother Ian. I swore to that, and I do.
When did you swear?
Where'd you swear to tell the truth all the time?
I don't go away there, Brother Mark.
I'm not claiming it does. I'm just asking the question.
24-hour day. Where did I swear?
Yeah.
What do you mean, where do I swear? I don't understand.
Well,
you said you swore to tell the truth.
Was this some kind of ceremony, a truth ceremony, or was this,
I held up my left hand and I swore to tell the truth and uphold the law.
Where? What were the circumstances?
Huh?
Where was this? What were the circumstances?
Circumstances? Yeah. Well, July 23rd. July 23rd, 2016. Circumstances were surrounded, didn't see it coming. I went through a deep background check, and I have to admit, we did it with time to spare. In fact, usually the process take an hour. The damn background check.
Did he answer your question?
Yes, he did. July 23rd, 2016.
But what was it for?
That's the win. He's telling you.
Well, initially it was to supervise a young lady that had 5 felonies. That's how it initially started.
Your probation officer?
Correct. I'm not a probation officer. No, I was deputized as a deputy, but I was deputized by the parole office. And that had to be deliberated by the legislature. Now, that only took them 10 minutes. Background check took 40 minutes. We did it with 10 minutes to spare. I was impressed.
So what can we do for you, Ricky?
Well, I had a question. question first off for you, Mark. Now, I know you mentioned the other night and that I guess some people in the AMP forums are calling me unhinged. Now, I'm wondering, why exactly is that?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to go look it up. I wasn't prepared for that question.
Okay. Well,
I don't recall that being said about you, but it very well could have.
You sound pretty calm and relaxed all the time, at least now, so I wouldn't see why someone would say that.
I would call you disjointed rather than unhinged.
Well, after 30 years, you'd be a little disjointed, too. And I'll tell you, I go through crap 24-hour a day. And see, that's the thing. I take my hat off also to the previous caller and that fallen officer. Because you want to know something? That's why I talk about responsibility. Because people can only say these things. But you know what? They don't have responsibility. I got responsibility 24-hour a day. Not only to the oath I swore to, but also when it comes to the other side. I'm very not only aware, but very concerned about the protection of the rights of others, even though they're different. You know?
Well, that's good. I think it is important to be concerned about the rights of others, especially people who are different. Thank you, Ricky, for the call tonight.
I got one definition. Based on the definition of the word incoherent, Ricky wins hands down.
What do you mean?
That's a claim of an amplifier.
Oh, right. Yeah, incoherent. Yeah, disjointed, I think would be.
Yeah, Dominic says so.
Yeah, very accurate. So anyway, there you go. There's Ricky. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. We never really did get all the way through your story, Vincent. We were talking about the universal basic income. Some company has decided they're going to give away $1,000 a month to 3,000 people in, was it a city or a state? What was was there like a geographic region that was chosen? I forget what that...
Two states.
Yeah, two states. What was the number?
3,000.
3,000 people.
Yes. Get $1,000
The company was Y Combinator.
Which you said is a big company.
Yeah, it is a big incubator, yeah.
Okay. And then the idea was to somehow study these people and like what they do with the money. Where were they going with this thing? Because it's not relevant to universal basic income because it's not universal.
Well, I think they're trying to see the effects on people, what it'll do to their. I saw an infographic that they posted. And it says in other countries where they tried it and where they're planning on trying it, places they tried it, the increase in self-esteem and increase in child care, whatever. But they do go on. This study will draw on lessons learned from the one-year project that Y Combinator recently carried out in Oakland. The sample size used in that experiment was too small to offer up the desired insights into UBI, which I studied statistics, i.e. what they want to show people. But its goal was primarily to establish the proper procedure for this large-scale trial. Show me the money. Y Combinator hopes to find out how basic income can help people respond to economic instability and uncertainty, or perhaps even find alternatives to UBI that achieve the same purpose. The overarching goal of this trial is to advance the debate among the future of work.
Well, hold on. It's not going to help anybody do anything differently, okay? So, at least as far as I can tell, if you give people money, they're going to do the same thing they've always done with it. It's why people who are new lotto winners who've never had money before end up blowing all the money and have nothing to show for it, a year out from the date that they won the money. I mean, these people don't know how to handle money. That's why they're playing the lottery, many of them in the first place. You give people $1,000 a month, the fiscally responsible people are going to be like, oh, great, I can take some of this money and put it in my savings that I already have built up because I'm a savings type of person. Or somebody else might be like, oh, great, I can take this money and put it into my business that I'm running, that I'm already running, because this will help my bottom line and make sure I can pay my employees or whatever. Whereas a person who doesn't know how to handle money would be like, oh, great, I can buy more cocaine and alcohol and hookers with this money. I mean, they're just going to use it to extend their current lifestyle, to extend their current whatever level of financial intellect that they have. They're just going to apply the $1,000 a month to that. I don't see how this is going to give anybody any insight into anything at all.
Even for people who work, football players, right? You hear football players get $10 million contracts, and then I saw a documentary on this. They buy like gold, diamond chains and everything, and then within a year, they're like, "Oh God, I'm bankrupt." And at some points, the NFL they actually appoint financial planners for these people, so they can't have their players living under a bridge.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
I have read somewhere that if you go to these poor countries, I'm talking $2 a day kind of poor,
Cameroon,
and you give money to, now in this case it was women specifically that were given money in these studies, that those women would apply the money, and we're not talking about much money here. They're living on $2 a day in these countries, so you can give a small amount of money and it can have an incredible effect. But you can give money to these women, and that they would apply the money to, family stuff, making sure their kids had, school fees were paid, and making sure they had shoes and things like that. So they, it doesn't disagree with your point, Ian, that people will do with money what they have always done with money.
Yeah.
But if you give people who have been bad with money, they're not going to be good with money.
Nope, definitely not. More coming up here. You can share your thoughts with us on universal basic income. There's more to share, right, Vincent? We'll get into that. And since we mentioned Cameroon, or since I mentioned Cameroon, there's actually news from Cameroon where things are getting, probably worse. We'll tell you about it coming up.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to SaveItPurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. SaveItPurse.com. You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, October 3rd, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.63 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,273 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.4 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $4,421. Antiwar.com reports talk of Iraq, Iran, and Turkey responding to Kurdistan's secession vote with military action seems to be growing more serious. Kurdish officials now say that Iran has deployed a dozen tanks and accompanying artillery to their border with Iraqi Kurdistan. Kurdish officials say that the tanks can be seen from their side of the border, dubbing the deployment a dangerous escalation. The Iranian government presented it as part of a joint military drill with Iraq. 92% of Kurdish voters were in favor of seceding from Iraq, and Kurdish officials say there is no going back after the vote. The effort is opposed by the rest of the region, however, and Iran and Turkey, who both have Kurdish minorities of their own, are particularly averse to a precedent for a Kurdish right to self-determination. The Kurdish Peshmerga is a substantial military faction bolstered by being armed by the United States for the war against the Islamic State. Still, it's not clear how capable they would be in defending Iraqi Kurdistan if it comes to an invasion by all of their neighbors. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the U.S. Supreme Court started its new term on Monday, and with that comes a load of fresh cases that could impact everything from religious freedom, government surveillance, and election laws in the country. It marks the High Court's first full term with Justice Neil Gorsuch, nominated to replace Antonin Scalia, who died February 13, 2016. The Supreme Court took a docket that spans some of the most contentious debates in the country. Should a Christian baker be allowed to refuse to make a wedding cake for a same-sex couple on religious grounds? Can the government access a person's cell phone records without a warrant? To what extent can the courts weigh in on voting districts and whether they favor one party over another? Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system and to fully capitalize on that decision in their fundraising efforts. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. Reuters reports a retiree armed with multiple assault rifles peppered an outdoor country music festival in Las Vegas from a high-rise hotel window on Sunday, slaughtering at least 59 people before killing himself. The barrage of gunfire from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel into a crowd of 22,000 people came in extended bursts that lasted several minutes as throngs of terrified music fans desperately cowered on the open ground, hemmed in by their fellow concert-goers, while others at the edge tried to flee. More than 525 people were injured, some by gunfire or shrapnel, some trampled in the pandemonium adjacent to the Las Vegas Strip as police scrambled to locate the assailant. Police identified the gunman as Stephen Paddock, who lived in a retirement community in Mesquite, Nevada. Authorities said they believe he acted alone, though his motive was unknown. At least a dozen people were in critical condition at University Medical Center in Las Vegas, where the most seriously injured victims were taken. Clark County Sheriff Joseph Lombardo told reporters Paddock had no criminal record. The gunman killed himself before police entered the hotel room where he was firing. Lombardo said 16 rifles were found in the room where Paddock killed himself, some with scopes and some that appear to have been modified in an attempt to convert them into machine guns. Lombardo said the gunman apparently used a device similar to a hammer to smash the windows from which he fired in the two-room hotel suite where he had been staying since Thursday. Chris Sullivan, the owner of the Guns and Guitar Shop in Mesquite, issued a statement confirming that Paddock was a customer who cleared all necessary background checks and procedures. Sullivan added, Paddock never gave any indication or reason to believe he was unstable or unfit at any time, adding that his business was cooperating with investigators. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
A new report finds climate change skeptics could reach catastrophic levels by 2020. The nation's gratuitously sexual couples announce plans to wait in line at Six Flags. And Grandpa looks absolutely precious in his new baseball cap. Offering a one-stop shop for all your peerless online news summary needs, this is the Onion Week in Review. In response to the escalating violence and rising death toll in Gaza this week, Israel unveiled a new defense system to deflect accusations of human rights violations. Israeli officials praised the new safety structure's ability to intercept an international barrage of war crime allegations and divert criticisms of Palestinian civilian casualties before they can ever hope to make contact with the Jewish state. In other news, a new state law requires doctors to scale an 18-foot wall surrounding abortion clinics. A study finds high school students retain only 1/3 of their obsolete curriculum over the summer, and a man's anxiety is not about to let depression muscle in on its turf.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free to bring up whatever you want. As we launch into the third hour of the program, our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, so feel free to Skype in here at username LRN.FM. And joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
It's Vincent.
And Mark.
Vincent, you've been telling us about some corporation that apparently is an incubator that they want to test out universal basic income. And they somehow believe that they're going to be able to gather some sort of useful information by just giving people $1,000 a month in a study that will involve 3,000 recipients, and also a control group, which for some reason will receive $50 per month.
I think it's $50 is just to track them.
Okay. Well, anyway, so there was more that you were telling us about this. My position is that this is not going to be useful information because you're not studying universal basic income. You're just looking at how people handle their money and asking the question of, if people are given an extra $1,000 worth of income every month, will their money handling habits change? And my answer is no. No, they won't. They're going to continue to spend money on the things they spend money on, or if they're savers, they're going to save that money, or they're investor types, they're going to invest it, or a combination of those things, or whatever. It's going to make their lives more comfortable. But ultimately, that's not something that will be holding true in a situation with universal basic income. So, of course, everybody is going to laud this program. The 3,000 people that receive the $1,000 a month are going to be really appreciative of that. And they're going to be like, yeah, right, I could really get behind this universal basic income thing.
This is a great idea. My life is significantly better after getting $1,000 free dollars every month for the last 3 years.
But the difference is, if it were actually universal basic income, that $1,000 a month, or whatever the amount would be going to every single person in a given landmass, that particular government who's issuing those checks would have dominion over, which means that they would likely be printing that money from thin air, inflating the money supply, which means that the money that the people have will buy less, and so therefore the $1,000 is basically a wash once everything's all said and done.
When everyone has $1,000, then no one will have $1,000.
Right, then $1,000 isn't worth anything anymore at that point.
Right, you used to be able to go to the store and buy candy with a penny. Now you can't go to the store and buy candy with $1. And that just goes to show that the more the money the government makes, the less value that money has.
Right, and a basic understanding of how
and that's why this whole system thing won't work.
The UBI thing?
By Y Combinator is to give any information. It doesn't give any information because, yes, if you give 3,000 or 500 people, what was the number?
3,000 people,
3,000 people, $1,000 a month. Yes, those people's lives will be better. Yes, those people's lives will be better. Let me say it again. Yes, those people's lives will be better. And yes, they'll tell you that, and yes, they'll answer that their lives are better. But if you give everybody $1,000, then you have to get the value from somewhere, and it's not backed by gold, people.
Right.
You get and when they just make more money and they give it to these people, then no. Over time, it devalues the currency.
It's not
especially if you don't
sound.
have some kind of diminishment in spending elsewhere. This is going to be, just do the math. It doesn't take long. There's 300 million people in the United States. If you give them $1,000 every month, that's $12,000 a year times 300 million people. You got a big old number. Right now we're taking in, as far as revenue goes, I think it's $15 trillion a year is the GDP. That's
$3.6 trillion.
So you're talking about something like 20% of the GDP that's going to go out. That's, you might as well go fighting wars for that kind of money. Now, it's a better use of, look, if I got to trade, 1 year of this is just 1 year, mind you. It's just 1 year. And the war in Iraq didn't cost that. Mm-hmm. But if I got to trade with this for 1 year for the war in Iraq, yes, I would take the basic income thing.
It's a period up to 5 years.
Well,
in this case,
yeah, that's the Y Combinator test. But I'm talking about
the whole country.
I'm so correct.
He's saying if the whole United States, if everybody received $1,000 a month from the federal government, according to my quick calculation here, that should be $3.6 trillion per year in costs of what it would cost to administer that program, and that doesn't include paying all the bureaucrats that you'd have to hire to that's just the flat cash out to the people. So call it $3.6 trillion minimum to do a year's worth of this. And you said the current budget is how much, Mark?
GDP.
Or GDP is?
The GDP, I think, is around 15. I'd have to look it up exactly.
What's the budget for the federal government? Is it $3.6 trillion?
I think it's I have to look.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
All the $20 trillion in debt, and the people behind this, I imagine, I don't want to accuse, they know all of this, and this isn't this is just a fluff piece. It's propaganda because
it's propaganda for the UBI.
Yeah, and they want it to give the government even more control over people's
Fiscal
lives.
year 2015 federal budget was $3.8 trillion.
Yeah,
you're talking about doubling the federal budget.
Yeah, $3 trillion. But the purpose of the universal basic income when it was pitched was you get rid of all the social programs besides this, and you just give the people the money, and they make decisions, and then you get decisions in the marketplace, and decisions in the marketplace are good. And so you'd be able to cut a great deal of the government spending out by replacing it with this UBI. My contention is that watch out, because the devil, she's in the details. And what's going to happen is this universal basic income is going to go on top, because what they're going to say is robots are going to take our jobs, and then what are you going to do, huh? We got to get ready for robots.
Oh yeah, all of this is based on fear. I mean, that's clue number one, that you should be very, very cautious when approaching this idea. Whenever somebody's selling something to you based on the fear of what might happen in the future, you're going to lose your job. You need the government to take care of you. And that not only puts the idea of kind of the fear of the future into people's heads, but, makes them feel perhaps impotent, like that they aren't going to be able to cut it, that they're going to be replaced by robots, that there's nothing worth living for except for this $1,000 check. I just think this is a depressing kind of view of what the future is going to be. And I don't think it's going to necessarily – I don't think it has to be that way. I mean, we've certainly seen examples of how industries have been roboticized or automated or whatever.
Sure, but we've also seen the people in those industries go and get jobs elsewhere.
In some other place.
And lower cost of living, too.
Because humans always come up with new ideas. I mean, the existing wealth that we have on Earth right now won't be the same in 10 years. We'll have the existing wealth plus all the new wealth that gets created. As long as the government doesn't physically stop you through taxing or regulations or actual arrests from creating that wealth, then you'll be able to innovate. You'll be able to bring new things into existence, including new jobs, new industries that nobody's ever thought of before, that no doubt we're going to see automation be a part of a lot of these things, but that doesn't mean there won't be roles for human beings in the future. I just think it's just such a dismal view of the way things could be.
Looking here, the GDP is $19 trillion, so it's more. It's less than the debt, which is, that's the tolling of the bell. When you're making less than you owe, that's bad. Imagine what you make per year, and then imagine having a debt larger than that. You're in big trouble.
That's bad.
And I see it as more. You see it as dismal. I see it as nefarious because someone said, anything the government big enough to give you everything you want is big enough to take it all away. So I see a future where, in order, people get hooked on this, right, and then they start putting in like credits or little caveats. They say, oh well, you'll get this amount, the full amount, if you drive an electric car or live in a Section 8 housing and give away all your guns.
Be a good little government slave.
Get your vaccines and everything.
Totally, they would do that.
I don't think they could last that long, frankly. But as they keep spending, growth is going to diminish. As growth diminishes, the wealthy are going to chase growth elsewhere. Those wealthy are going to move. You're going to find places where they want to be that aren't, Rodeo Drive and Fifth Avenue. And once the wealthy go, then you're done.
Toll-free number tonight, 855-450, free like freedom. You can join us here on the radio and take control of the airwaves. Free Talk Live.
Book Club Radio.
Today we're chatting with Mike Papantonio, leading trial lawyer and prolific author. His latest novel, Law and Vengeance, is a non-stop, action-packed legal thriller. We spoke with him about the book and the real-life issues that inform and inspire his writing.
I think the fiction is easier because the stories kind of tell themselves. Because of what I do. Now, it may, if I didn't do what I did for a living and I said, well, let me imagine what happens with a whistleblower. Let me imagine what happens when a pharmaceutical company kills people with a dangerous pharmaceutical. Let me imagine what happens when a mega corporation pollutes an entire waterway for 300,000 people. Let me imagine that. It's tough to imagine. But it's very easy to write when you're actually in the middle of that and you're experiencing what's happening firsthand. When you write a fiction book and it's based on reality, it just seems to very often write itself.
On the heels of the critically acclaimed legal thriller Law and Disorder comes Law and Vengeance, the latest novel from famed trial attorney Mike Papantonio. Law and Vengeance follows the law firm of Bergman Dichotomous, who is now in the crosshairs of a weapons manufacturer. But this is not a law firm that plays by all the rules. Based on a real case, Law and Vengeance, the riveting new legal thriller by Mike Papantonio, is available wherever books are sold.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are two Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
Never, ever send a follow-up email asking, "Did you get my email?" Email 101. If it didn't bounce back undeliverable, it got where you sent it. And avoid transmedia pestering, like calling to ask, "Did you get my email?" or emailing to say, "I left you a voicemail." If your emails and voicemails aren't being acknowledged, your problem isn't technology, it's technique. Is your message concise and understandable? Have you boiled it down to seem as relevant as possible to the recipient? In other words, is it the opposite of spam or junk mail? All of this really matters if you're a job seeker. But even if you're not, with money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Ready for your free money? Universal Basic Income's going to make everybody's life so much better. You won't have to work. You'll just get a check every month from the government.
I don't have to get a second mortgage on my house to go to the Eagles games.
Mm-hmm. It's like magic. It'll just make your life so much better. How come they're not doing this already? I mean, if the idea of giving the government, having them give out $1,000 checks or whatever to every single person in the country is such a good idea, why wait? Why do we need to wait until the machines take over? Because that's what the purported reason is for all this, is the machines are going to take your jobs and you're going to need something to live off of, so you'll live off the government is the idea. Well, if it's such a great idea, why not go ahead and implement it now? Because there's no economics behind this. This is a crazy not only wealth redistribution program, but money inflation program is all it really is. Well, it's designed to make people think that the government's doing something for them, when in reality, it's actually just destroying people's existing wealth that they've already created for themselves.
Are you trying to imply that the government needs sound economic reasoning before implementing anything?
No, but it would be nice.
Hold on, Ian. So, you say there's no economics behind it. I will go ahead.
It's Mickey Mouse economics.
Well, I'll go ahead and say this: the Federal Reserve is going to create money, right?
They sure are. Yep.
Yep. Especially, let's use the period between, I think it was 2005, 2008, when we had the Great Recession.
Uh-huh.
Okay. They created a lot of money.
Right, and gave it to the banks.
Trillions and trillions of
car
money.
companies.
Yeah. What would have happened if instead of giving the money to the banks, who didn't need it, really, they didn't. They just held it in as deposits. They didn't loan it out. They didn't do banking business with it. They just held it. If they hadn't have given that money to the banks, but instead just given it to the bottom, 50% of earners in the U.S., that's a lot of money. And I'd have to look it up to see how much exactly they gave away during the.
That'd be even worse. It'd make people love the government.
Well, it would insert the money into the marketplace and would have added to the velocity of money, which is what they claimed they really wanted to do. And banks weren't doing it. They would have been able to put far less into the economy and give it the old jolt, the clear, that, instead of giving it to the banks who just held it. Mm-hmm. So is there economic sense to this if it's implemented properly? But what's the chances of that happening?
How would it be properly implemented?
I just told you how it would be
printing out money.
Properly implemented.
There's no proper in printing out money. That's stealing.
It's a straight up heist, man. It's not proper.
That's right.
Hold on. You just said economics. You didn't say morality.
Well, I'm also concerned about morality as well.
Okay. So morality
you print out money and you're stealing from people.
Well,
it's devaluing what they have in the bank.
I don't think that's true. If you play a game and that game includes inflation, whether you know about it at some point or another, you've been informed about it.
Am I allowed to inflate something? Am I allowed to have a printing press?
It's not a fair game.
How many people have been informed?
But you continue to use the dollar, don't you?
I'm sorry, but no. People have not been informed about inflation.
Have you?
They've been lied to about inflation.
Have you?
I learned about it later on.
Then why do you continue using the dollar?
I try not to. I use Bitcoin as often as possible.
But you do use the dollar, do you not? Why do you use the dollar when they inflate it?
It's a requirement in many bills that you have to pay.
You can't claim that Keynesian economics doesn't have its value. It does. It works.
We're living in a giant bubble economy, man.
Fine.
It's going to collapse eventually. It's going to be a disaster. It's going to kill so many people, man.
It works for the politically connected.
Yep.
It works for them.
It works for a lot of people for a long time.
It hurts other people. When inflation happens, that's the money. See, what they taught me in school was a lie. They said that inflation was an increase in prices, and that's not true.
Well, that's price inflation.
Well, they taught me it was good. Inflation was good because more poor people get money.
The inflation is an increase in the money supply, which devalues, as Vincent pointed out, devalues the any amount of savings that the people out there in the economy have. And the average person, if they went to government school, was not taught what inflation is.
You weren't taught that in private school either.
Well, whatever. People don't know what inflation is, so you can't go out there and claim that people are knowingly participating in this scam economy out there.
We've been on the air for 15 years now.
We're only heard by a small fraction of the American population.
A small fraction of the American population, but we've been on for a long time. I'll bet you the percentages get into the mid-single digits of people who have heard Free Talk Live. Now, obviously, not every minute of every day are we talking about inflation, but
maybe not even once a week.
I mean, if you've made it to 50 years old and you haven't investigated this, maybe there's a certain responsibility you've got.
No, that's you're scamming people. I mean, to defend the Federal Reserve.
I'm not defending
the
Federal Reserve. I'm pointing out that the vast majority of Americans would rather stick their heads in the sand.
Just because people are ignorant doesn't make it okay to steal from them.
Yeah, it does make it when they're willfully ignorant.
It's not okay.
It's not okay to steal from people.
If you continually, over and over, make fun of people who talk to you about this stuff.
Hold on. If I go in to an old lady's house, like, my grandparents, they got Alzheimer's or dementia or whatever, and I tell them that I'm going to help them, with whatever they need their driveway painted or something like that, and I have them cut me a check for the entire balance of their checking account in order to do that job. Just because they're ignorant of what's going on doesn't make it okay. It doesn't make it less of a scam. It doesn't make it moral. I can't believe you're defending the Federal Reserve printing money here. Is that what you're doing?
Look, the game is laid out.
This is not a game. This is a serious scam.
A game. It's a game.
You're talking about people's lives here.
They've playing this game for longer than anybody who's listening to me has been alive, and they don't take responsibility. They will not take responsibility.
So stop defending them.
Who?
Well, who's they? Who's the they you're talking about?
The people listening to me, the vast majority of whom will not take responsibility.
I thought you were talking about the Federal Reserve.
People will call in here and say, well, what's the point of Bitcoin? Well,
yeah,
I'll tell
they're
you
new to it. It's a new idea.
Yeah, well, if you heard
not everybody has all day long to sit and read a bunch of economics books or articles or whatever that you spend your time on. The average person is busy. They are trying to make ends meet. They're trying to get the bills paid. They're trying to put food on the table. They're trying to live their lives and take care of their families and take care of themselves. I don't blame anybody for wanting to not pay attention to what's going on in Washington, D.C. For the most part, what they do in D.C. is irrelevant to people's lives as far as going to work and getting those things done. Now, we know that the government is taxing people. We know that they're hurting people. We know their regulations are driving down the economy. And
taxation's easy. You can say that taking something from somebody by force, if you're not the government, stealing, right?
Taking by fraud is also stealing.
Taking by fraud is, but it's not like this is a secret anymore. Ron Paul told you people in 2008, and you called him quixotic. Ron Paul told you in 2012, and you applauded when he was cheated out at the Republican convention. Rand Paul gets up there and ends up dropping out before 2016.
Not everybody pays attention to the presidential election, dude.
But a lot of people do. And when you talk to people about Ron Paul, crazy's one of the words that they throw out there. Look, if you keep on insulting the people that are coming to tell you the truth, then screw you. I hope you get robbed.
Wow, that's really That's a really cynical, negative viewpoint. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. I don't think that's persuasive in any way, shape, or form. There's more on the way here. You can take control of the airwaves.
Keep their heads in the sand.
This is Free Talk Live.
Dr. Carolyn Dean wants you to have a free chapter of her new book, The Magnesium Miracle 2nd Edition, and it's available at magmiracle.com. In your free chapter, Dr. Carolyn Dean explains how magnesium is essential to support the structure and function and overall health of your body. Your free chapter is your guide to learn how to support your heart, bone, metabolic, lung, and mental health with this powerful mineral. The Magnesium Miracle 2nd Edition is available on Amazon, but right now get a free chapter at magmiracle.com, spelled M-A-G, miracle.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Free Talk Live, the show where anyone can call about whatever they want. And we do mean anyone.
Homeland Security teaching the Boy Scouts of America to do black ops missions and destroy
Hold on a second.
veterans returning.
Did you just say that they are training the Boy Scouts to do black op missions?
Of course they are. There's funding from the Department of Homeland Security. There's grants and
Wait, what kind of black ops are we talking about here? Just like spying on the neighbors, seeing if they're putting their recycling in the wrong bin, or what?
It goes deeper than that. To teach the 12 and 13, 14-year-olds how to do paintball stuff, and the target is supposedly disgruntled veterans.
What?
They're preparing them to take on returning veterans that have been labeled disgruntled. That's part of the indoctrination.
They're preparing the Boy Scouts to take them on? Like what, in a firefight? To hand-to-hand combat?
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern. Live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can join us on the radio and take control of the airwaves toll free at 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Or Skype on in here. It's Skype username LRN.FM, talking about the so-called universal basic income, a terrible idea that is only going to inflate the money supply and give people the false feeling or illusion that the government is helping them out somehow with a $1,000 a month check or whatever arbitrary amount they end up deciding on if this program ever goes forward. Hopefully it won't. But I understand why some people seem to be attracted to it, because who doesn't want free money? Unfortunately, there are some consequences to printing out money, and usually that involves prices going up. So if you're getting a bunch of money,
it has to.
Then the price of everything you buy jumps up by twice or however much it would jump up over time. Then you really haven't gotten anything, have you?
If you create twice as much money, necessarily prices must double in order for that money to make sense in the marketplace.
It's more money chasing the same amount of goods, basically.
Right. And your savings degrade.
Yeah, wealth isn't greenbacks.
Correct.
Wealth is the things that greenbacks buy. And so if you create more quantifications of wealth, that's what greenbacks are, just a way to count wealth. Mm-hmm. If you create more of that, then it's going to devalue the wealth itself.
Right, you have to count it twice as much for the same amount of wealth.
Sure.
So
it's like taking a pizza pie. You can cut it into 4 big slices. You can cut it into 8 medium-sized slices. You can cut it into 16 little bitty slices.
But now you have more slices.
Right. You have more slices, but you don't have more pie.
Right. Now, that's not to say that wealth is finite. I think this is another important point.
But it's not created by banks.
Right. That's a good your pizza pie example is a good representation of increasing the money supply and what that does. But wealth itself does increase over time if unfettered, if the market is allowed to innovate, if people are allowed to create new wealth. And in order to do that, you generally have to take existing wealth and combine it with new ideas or natural resources, or take your ideas and combine them with natural resources in ways that have not been done previously, and that's what innovation is all about. So if people are free to innovate, if people are free to start businesses, then wealth increases over time. If there are restrictive government regulations, wealth will increase perhaps, but slower than it otherwise might. Or if the government is completely totalitarian, you will not see any wealth increases and may even see a wealth decrease if it's a total crackdown and they're murdering people and stealing property left and right. So because wealth in the hands of government bureaucrats ends up being wasted, and so just set it on fire.
We don't know the level of government regulation that is optimal for
Zero.
Ian knows.
Yes.
Thank goodness Ian knows, the guy who doesn't spend the time reading those economic tomes that he had just
Why would government regulation be optimal in any way, shape, or form? It impedes the marketplace.
You're using reason. You don't have empirical data. You need to be able to do
what data are you going to show me that government regulation?
I don't know. You need to find me a place that has no government regulation.
I'm not finding you anything.
All right.
Well, there hasn't been because no government allows it.
Indeed.
Right.
That's why we don't know.
I can tell you.
And we won't be allowed to test it.
If the government is regulating, that means they are stopping. A regulation is the government saying, no, you cannot, unless you beg for permission or send us a bunch of money and supplicate yourself to us. That doesn't create wealth.
I'm not too worried about the regulation that construction workers have to wear hard hats. That's probably not.
Yeah, but insurance companies will require that anyway.
What's the difference between a regulation and an insurance company
The difference is
rule?
regulations are forced upon people, and insurance companies are not forced upon people.
We were talking about efficiency. We're not talking about morality. When you make blanket statements, you need to be clear. And
I'm clear. Government regulations get in the way of business getting done.
Yeah, well,
that's not to say that insurance policies
falling on people's heads.
That's not to say that insurance policies don't get in the way as well in certain cases.
Sure.
But at least then it's an option that people can choose to engage in. If you want to build a house without insurance and do your own wiring or whatever and take those risks, I think you should be free to do that.
Yeah, I think you should too. But I think that I think that the marketplace is going to need to become more educated on when they ask questions about houses. I've bought houses and I've never asked, do you have a certification that this wiring is up to code? And I've never said that.
Yeah.
And it's just my presumption that any wiring with which I am dealing with is at code level when it was created.
It's not a safe presumption, especially when you're dealing with houses like this.
Where are you going to get a certification, though?
I don't know. There's probably electricians out there.
This house was built in 1890. What expectation would you have that the wiring would be at a particular year of code?
I wouldn't.
I've been down in the basement in this house, and the wiring is exposed.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You can't have an expectation like that.
And you'd have to.
That's why you need an expert to look at it.
Yeah, you'd ask for a realtor or whatever company, and if a company is selling houses with faulty wiring, then no one will hire them. Word will get around.
Yeah, most people are going to want to have good wiring because they don't want the house to catch on fire while they're in it, and they do want insurance on their home, and the insurer is not going to insure a dangerous house, and that's why there are home inspections and things like that people can voluntarily get. But anyway, Vincent, you had a little bit more you wanted to share from this universal basic income pitch piece, which is essentially what this company Y Combinator or whatever they're called is doing. They're basically trying to do a PR pitch for the idea of giving away money to people, and the way they're doing that is they're going to give away money to people, and then they're going to report back about how much better people's lives are. So look at this. We did it with 3,000 people. Now we just have to make it 300 million people, and everybody's going to no one's going to have to work again, is what they would like you to believe. It's ridiculous. But was there more?
Yes. Silicon Valley is certainly being vocal when it comes to UBI. The likes of Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg and Tesla and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk have shared their support for the idea, along with others.
The libertarian Elon Musk, right?
You mean the libertarian who gets all of his government contracts for stuff that explodes and doesn't work?
Fraud.
Despite this support, however, UBI isn't the kind of policy that can be put into place without extensive testing. Other trials are already in the works in countries like Scotland, Canada, and Finland. And unlike Y Combinator study, those projects have government support. With millions of people at risk of unemployment due to advancing technology,
fear, yes.
Any and all potential solutions to keep these people above a poverty line are worth considering.
Yep. All right. And this was from Futurist? Future or something or other?
Futurism.com.
Futurism.com. Yeah, I don't think these are worth considering at all. Wealth redistribution programs, massive, giveaway programs, and this is ultimately just a fraction of the idea of the. Remember the. What was it? The fair tax was what they called it. The fair tax had this built into it. The fair tax people wanted to give away a paycheck to every single person in the United States, and what they called it was a prebate.
Yep. And
the idea was that they were the fair tax, which was the proposal to replace the income tax with a flat tax of only 27% or something ridiculous like that at the retail level, where the federal government would have its own sales tax. The idea was that, well, since everybody's going to be spending money in monthly, then we could just give people a baseline that they could just spend and not have to worry about the taxes because it'd be free money. It was my understanding of it, and this is essentially the exact same program.
Or you could tax people less.
The notion with the prebate was that the first, say, if you make $30,000 a year versus if you make $300,000 a year, that the taxes of, say, I think like 20% on whatever you buy, so like a 20% sales tax, is going to hit you harder than taxes, that with the $300,000 earner.
Yeah.
And so the idea was to give the $30,000 earner something back so that they would then not be hit by these taxes as hard. That was that's the window dressing. Right. I would go step a little bit farther and say that it's the government attempting to track everybody with a little carrot. Here's your check for $600 every month. You got to tell us where you live, though.
Right.
And they just want to know the information. We want your social security number. We need your address. We need all this stuff. Write in a little, little file together, and we want to know that information.
Make sure you log in with your Facebook account, since now apparently Zuckerberg's getting behind
Can't get
this.
your check without the written scan.
There's more coming up here. You can take control of the airwaves. Bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number 855-450-FREE, like freedom. I got a robot story coming up.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories, while I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
If you have unpaid tax debt to the IRS that you can't pay, please hear this special notice. Specially approved IRS relief programs designed to aid delinquent taxpayers are now in effect that can significantly improve your financial situation. Depending on your circumstances, you may qualify to have your tax problem resolved in your favor and may even have your back taxes reduced by thousands or eliminated entirely. A relief hotline has been established by Community Tax for you to call and see if you qualify at 800-908-4758. If you owe the IRS back taxes that you can't afford to pay, don't let the IRS trick you into thinking you have no way out. Our highly accredited tax professionals will let you know what you qualify for and how much you can save. We may be able to stop all liens, garnishments, levies, and save you thousands. Call and see if you qualify for this taxpayer relief at 800-908-4758. 800-908-4758. That's 800-908-4758. Community Tax. Who's your tax guy?
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The Empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. Moments remain. Enough time for you. If you dial in now, we'll try to get you in here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And with you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
It's Vincent.
And Mark.
To the phones, to the fun. Just want to also remind you about freetalklive.com, where you can help support the show through the AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. And the idea is very simple. You send $5 a month into Free Talk Live via credit card, via Bitcoin, via PayPal, and we will take that money in and invest it into Free Talk Live, getting on more radio stations around the country and bringing new internet listeners on board as well. So head over to amp.freetalklive.com. We've got new AMP goals, so instead of trying to reach a goal that we never even came close to, which used to be a $10,000 a month goal, we're shooting for $3,000 a month now, and we're kind of hovering at around 27. We'd gone past 2,800, but then unfortunately we lost a few amplifiers, as tends to happen, and a couple of them were platinums because some people just they run out of money or they lose a job and they got to cut back. So life happens, and we understand that. We appreciate anybody who's supported us, including James from Arizona, who is our newest amplifier. Believe it or not, he actually gave $5 a month starting this month to Free Talk Live, and there was some debate over whether or not that we should accept it. And I decided I wanted to go the Ron Paul route. If you remember when Ron Paul was in hot water for accepting money from white supremacists, he pointed out, hey, look, I'm going to do the right thing with this money rather than what they might have done with it. So he wasn't embarrassed to accept that. I'm not embarrassed to accept James's money, but that does mean that he does need to get the perks. So despite the objections of some of our amplifiers, James Witt is currently in the AMP-only Facebook group, which is providing for some entertainment, I think, for some.
Some people are enjoying it, yeah.
He hasn't been that bad. I expected him to go through the past 100 posts and insulting everyone, but
he seems to be staying on the one post so far.
His containment post.
I don't know how long that will be the case. But anyway, yeah, anybody can amp the show, even people who have been banned from calling it, apparently. So go to amp.freetalklive.com and you can support Free Talk Live.
And you can get added to the Facebook group and you can interact with James from Arizona.
Or you can block him if you don't want to see him.
That's true.
So anyway, go to amp.freetalklive.com as we go to your calls and thoughts. We got EJ calling from Clarksburg, West Virginia, listening online. Hello, EJ.
Ian, thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I have one question about the universal basic income that's being talked about tonight.
Okay.
Is this supposed to be replacing people's normal incomes, or is it meant to be a supplementary type income that the government be providing?
Right. So that's what the universal basic income, when it was purported by Friedman, was proposed as. So he called it the negative income tax, and the idea is that all government services would be discontinued, and that poor people would get, or everybody or whatever, some kind of basic income amount that you would get. So whatever that might be. And that is interesting from an economic standpoint, because then you'll see what kind of decisions people make in the marketplace, and people who make poor decisions will serve as an example to those who, would
But we can
otherwise-
already see that. We don't need universal basic income.
Oh, you don't have any clue what bad financial decisions actually do to somebody at this point.
Sure, I've seen all kinds of people with bad financial decisions and how that affects their lives. I just cleaned out a house full of bad financial decisions.
Yeah, I'm afraid that the average person, says to themselves they can, if worst comes to worst, they always have the social safety net to fall back on. That wouldn't happen with universal basic income if it was, or at least the negative income taxes purported by Milton Friedman.
He ain't going to build the program.
No. That's the real problem here, is the devil being in the details.
It still would be a problem even if he did, because it's still wealth redistribution and inflation. But EJ, it is, as I understand it, intended to replace a job for people, because they're selling it to people on the idea of, oh, well, you're going to lose your job. So if we just give you $1,000 a month, you'll get to eat and you can just sit around your house all day long.
Yeah, the problem I see with that is that it completely de-incentivizes anybody to do anything meaningful with their lives.
Sure does.
I mean, I don't understand how people don't see that. People who advocate for this.
They've read too many dystopian graphic novels. That's why. They think that humans are going to become obsolete because robots will do everything. And it's true that AI is getting better and better at a lot of different things. But what we've seen so far with automation, all kinds of automation, is we've seen the marketplace grow, and that people find new jobs and new valuable things to do. Now, maybe sometimes those jobs aren't as good as they used to be. Maybe the candlestick maker made more money making candlesticks than he did when he had to go and, I don't know, put filaments in light bulbs, or whatever it might be. Or maybe he didn't. I don't know, but people found jobs in the marketplace. Well, currently, unemployment is at record lows right now. That doesn't mean that 40% of people, adults, are working, because they're not.
Look, EJ, you're absolutely right. Of course, this is going to disincentivize work. That's, it's going to be attractive to the people who don't want to work. I mean, think about all those people who don't want to have to go to a job or whatever. They're going to see this and they're going to be like, bring it on. $1,000 a month. That is awesome. I can sit around and get high and eat junk food all day long, eat cans of beans and smoke crack cocaine or whatever it is, and they're going to love it. That's what people, lazy people want, right?
Completely at the cost of the government knowing everything that you do and having control over every aspect of your life.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's of course going to be a cost. So.
Yeah, there's always the cost.
Called a sheeple for a reason.
But this is going to be attractive to people because I think, like you've said before, Mark, people respond to incentives. And unfortunately, there are going to be people who might be productive now but would prefer to not be. I mean, some people would want to sit around and play PlayStation 4 all day long.
It doesn't sound terrible.
Absolutely. I would love to do that, but I don't know. It doesn't seem right to me. It seems like, and I know we were talking about morality earlier, but and I don't really want to go down that road if I can avoid it. But I mean, it seems like I was raised in an environment where you had a work ethic and you were proud at the end of the day of the work that you did.
Right.
And so I do not understand the mentality.
It makes the leisure, from our perspective, for people who like to work, it makes whatever leisure time we have more enjoyable because it's more unique, it's more special. You earned it. You got to a certain level, and you take a little vacation or take a break. Whereas these people are going to be on vacation 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all year long. Woo!
It's not like a cruise with all-you-can-eat buffets, though. They're going to be pretty poor.
And most other people were raised by, in daycares or in public schools where basically they're taught to be complacent.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it comes from sort of a Calvinist upbringing, and Calvinism has a deep-rooted role here in the U.S. And yeah, people do feel a great deal of sort of attachment from a moral standpoint, from a meaning in their life that comes from their job. But further than that, if you work hard in America, and you make good financial decisions, or at least pretty good financial decisions. You don't make stupid financial decisions over and over again. The idea is that your life's going to get better and better over time. Handing out a universal basic income, your life isn't going to get better. You're going to be the same bum you were 5 years ago.
EJ, any other thoughts?
Oh, no. Although I will tip of the hat to you for mentioning Calvinism. I actually kind of am one. But this is kind of one of those things, like, I take great pride in my work as an act of worship, but I understand that the listeners have mixed ideologies about that kind of thing, so I won't get too much into that.
Thank you, EJ, for your call. You can call about that another night.
I think it's one of the things that made America great.
Hey, thanks
frankly.
for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. Let's go to David. He's on the line, I think, in North Carolina. David, you're on Free Talk Live on Skype. David in North Carolina, or David somewhere. David going once, David going twice. With that, we go to Sarah in New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live.
So I want to mention that we are having a polar change, the switch. So, we're going to see the continent of Atlantis, Lemuria, and Mu. It's all going to resurface like Edgar Casey had said. Edgar Casey said that all the
Wasn't he a fraud?
He was a sleeping prophet. He prophesied it was going to resurface. So when the polarity switches finally, all of the islands were going to be pushed back up because the water is going to be changed. All the water. So Florida will be underwater. Like you said, it used to be underwater. It will be going underwater, and so is California.
Well, I wish we had time for all of this nonsense tonight, Sarah, but unfortunately...
I hope I get some warnings so I get my boat out.
We don't. Appreciate the call, but yeah, Edgar Casey is, basically a huckster. He was a so-called psychic.
If Coast to Coast was around back then, he would have been banned.
Can he make the table float?
I think he was one of those guys, yeah.
Give blood, people. Give blood.
See you tomorrow.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, October 3rd, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.63 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,273 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.4 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $4,421. Antiwar.com reports talk of Iraq, Iran, and Turkey responding to Kurdistan's secession vote with military action seems to be growing more serious. Kurdish officials now say that Iran has deployed a dozen tanks and accompanying artillery to their border with Iraqi Kurdistan. Kurdish officials say that the tanks can be seen from their side of the border, dubbing the deployment a dangerous escalation. The Iranian government presented it as part of a joint military drill with Iraq. 92% of Kurdish voters were in favor of seceding from Iraq, and Kurdish officials say there is no going back after the vote. The effort is opposed by the rest of the region, however, and Iran and Turkey, who both have Kurdish minorities of their own, are particularly averse to a precedent for a Kurdish right to self-determination. The Kurdish Peshmerga is a substantial military faction bolstered by being armed by the United States for the war against the Islamic State. Still, it's not clear how capable they would be in defending Iraqi Kurdistan if it comes to an invasion by all of their neighbors. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the U.S. Supreme Court started its new term on Monday, and with